How's it going, everyone? Welcome to episode 16 of the ControllerCast. Glad to have all of you back tuning in. It's been a bit of a break since the last episode, about a month. So a lot of catching up to do in terms of what we've been up to, what's going on in our personal lives, as well as all the crazy shit that's been going on in the world. We have a lot to talk about, just in terms of news, but also, things that we've seen that we also want to talk about. So let's kind of get right into it in terms of the catch up. I'll start off, I guess, but it's worth kind of checking in with everyone where everyone's been at. I went to Omaha for a few weeks. I don't know if it's been clear, but I am currently residing in Arizona. But I went to Omaha for a certain event. I'll let that event be discussed a little bit later. It was a pretty fun time. Really, really enjoyed it. It's just nice being back there for more than just a weekend, as I have been, in the past few visits. And I got to see these idiots multiple times, pretty much for a whole week straight, which was super fun. And I was just with my family too. I got to see pretty much all my friends out there. And then really from there, my family actually came back with me, and they were out here in Arizona for a week and a half. So I got to get sick of my family again. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, and I actually met one of my cousins for the first time. That was actually super cool too. I don't know if you guys know this, but my dad's side of the family, my dad has 4 siblings. And my mom has 8 siblings. So I have 8. Yeah, I have a bunch of cousins. Some I have never met in my life. So I actually met one for the first time. He came to visit when my family came. So it's super cool. Shout out to you, Marwan, if you're listening to this. Besides that, been trying to get back on the gym grind. Going back to the gym. I haven't gone since I moved here, but I'm trying to get back to healthy eating and healthy lifestyle. And what else? Oh yeah, this will be kind of funny. The fan in my room that I'm in right now, the room I'm in right now, the fan stopped working. And the door stopped closing. Like it won't open and shut properly without me putting a bunch of force on it all of a sudden. So
what the heck?
Yeah, the fan started rattling and just stopped. Or no, the fan and the light. The fan and the light started rattling and stopped. And then within the next day, the door got fucked up. So I don't know. And I called the maintenance guy, and this idiot, just gonna rant here for a second. This idiot said, I need access to the fan. So please move your bed. And I'm like, what? Just stand on the bed. He's like, he's like, call me when you move the bed.
You're like, excuse me.
Hey, you're not the only one that's had maintenance problems this week.
Dude, me too. Me too, showing up unannounced during work, my lunch hour.
So yeah, I need to put in a maintenance request now for my door that won't open. I'm actually coming in through the bathroom right now. And this fucking light and fan in my guest bedroom. It's pretty screwy. And then what else? I'm just trying to be all conclusive with what I've been up to. I saw, this is just a little aside. I saw the sequel to The Shining, Doctor Sleep. That was not worth my time. Don't even gonna go into that. It was just I don't know. I thought it was really, really lame. But Tana liked it, so I guess there's some value in that. And then what is it? I celebrated my birthday yesterday, so I went to go see this movie called The Green Knight with Dave Patel. That was pretty cool. Very confusing film. So I don't really have that much to share on that. But I also went to the super fancy restaurant. It's really popular. It's called Nobu. A lot, rappers rap about it. So, it's, it's gonna be expensive.
Really?
Yeah. Remember Future, there's a song where it's like Nobu, 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 Nobu.
I'm not surprised, but I don't remember it.
but yeah, I went there, and it was like some of the best food I've ever had in my life. And but it was also the probably the most. It was actually, I think it was the most expensive meal that I've also ever had in my life. So shout out to Nobu. Go check it out if you have the funds for it. But yeah, that's kind of my shtick that I've been up to, I guess. What about you, Parker? What have you been up to since the last episode?
So the month of July has actually been a pretty fun month, man. Started out the month with a bang, with Arsenal coming into town and being able to hang out with everybody. And we'll talk about the event shortly, but very, very fun time there. Got to see Ben again, you know.
Yeah.
It was a very, very fun time. Also after that, or I'm sorry, but before that, actually, I had family come into town for the 4th of July. So pretty much being able to have them in Omaha for once instead of having to leave town to see them was nice.
Is that the side that calls you City Slicker?
No, actually, no. Yeah, my mom's side's a little crazy, but but other than that, man, it's been a very chill month. Just been finished up watching the NBA finals. That ended off not how we exactly wanted, but we'll also get into that later. The Olympics are on now, which has been a lot of entertainment going on. So I've just been watching a lot of TV, what's kind of going on in the world, and just kind of enjoying myself, man. Summer's here in Omaha. It's nice outside. It's been nice to be able to like freaking go outside and just actually walk around instead of having to be in this shitty rainy weather that Omaha always has. But oh yeah, we celebrated Jordan's birthday by going
but the club exceed.
Yeah, we went to a few clubs and had a great time doing that too. Had some fun dancing.
Retro Rewind.
Yes, Retro Rewind. I felt like I was straight racist being there because it was all like old white people, bro. Like I felt like a bad person being in there.
Oh,
we went to two very opposite end of the spectrum bars.
Yeah,
yeah. Went to the Max and there, so yeah, completely two different experiences, but very.
Yeah. There has to have been some crazy thing that happened to you guys at the Max, right? Did anything crazy happen? Because there's too many crazy things that have happened for me there.
The people watching was extremely fun. I will say that.
Did you enjoy the entertainment on the screen, on the televisions?
Oh yeah, Parker's eyes were glued to that screen all night.
Yeah. It's weird, bro.
What's on the televisions? Enlighten the audience.
I probably shouldn't share on the pod.
Maybe you should.
Pod.
John, maybe you should have just come with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Look, it's just love. It's just love.
It's just guys being dudes. Just guys being dudes.
Guys being dudes. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. There's some good old McLovin going on.
Yeah, the Max is a very, very would you put it, unique experience, to say the least. But that pretty much sums up my month. I haven't really done anything crazy, but done a lot of fun stuff. Enjoyed myself quite a bit. Andrew, how about you describe your month of July?
Yeah, I mean it was a whirlwind, you know, a whole month. A lot can happen in a month. We had the 4th of July, the wedding. I went to Florida right after the wedding, and now I've just been kind of cooling around. Went to so 4th of July, I had some stuff with Jordan's family, and then the next weekend we got the big old weekend for Mr. Johnny, and then Wednesday I went out to Florida to go to Disney World, and now I'm just had the bar scene last week, had a soccer game last night, so we're just loading up. We loaded up July, and now it's August 1st, so then and the Olympics are on now. I was laying in my bed till 2:45 in the morning watching fucking golf, so that was cool. Yeah, so
That's
you know
dedication.
it's like the Olympics this year. Like I love the Olympics, but it's like very hard to like get into it when there's like a literal pandemic going on. So you know, it's whatever. Up till 3 in the morning watching golf, but it's all good. John, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, Johnny Barnes.
Well, I'll try and keep it brief before we really get into it, but obviously,
Dude, just go into it, bro.
Yeah, just go into it.
All right, screw it. We'll go into it. So, we started off with the 4th of July. We went over to Brittany and Thad's place in Logan, Iowa, and I started off the month with a bang by breaking my ass. Straight up, dude, it still hurts to this day. Like, I think I really messed something up. So we were playing Ghosts in the Graveyard, and I was on the deck, and the only way off the deck to not get caught was to jump over the side. So I did so, but my feet like fell beneath me, and it had to have been like an 8-foot drop, and I just landed straight on my ass. So that didn't feel too good. And then, I mean, there was a lot leading up to the wedding. We did a lot of stuff that week. We picked up 420 beers, like ton of drinks, ton of candy and snacks.
Whose wedding? Whose wedding?
Let me think. Yeah. So I got married to my beautiful wife, Casey.
Congratulations.
Thank you, everyone.
Round of applause for the man, Johnny.
Round of applause. Yes.
Yay.
I did it, dude. I did it. But honestly, it was absolutely everything I could have hoped for and so much more. These guys all showed up. And my other groomsmen too. Shout out Thad, Graham, and my brother-in-law, David. Everyone showed up with a positive attitude, ready to have fun and dance. And dude, we danced that night away. These guys were dancing for like 3 hours straight. It was from like 8 p.m. until 11:30. Casey looked incredible in her dress. It was crazy seeing her in it for the first time. Like, it's hard to talk about it without getting a little choked up, because like I'll say it with no shame to the listeners. Like, I cried like a baby almost the entire day. Especially when I first saw Casey in her dress. The night before was a ton of fun too. We all were night swimming at Graham's before one of the biggest storms that we've had in Omaha for a while. And the night before the wedding, all of the girls lost power from the wind, but surprisingly, we all had power, and we had a pool to chill in the night before, so we got the lucky end of the stick with that. I can't wait to get like all our photos back. Our photographer said we'd have them back in like 6 to 8 weeks, so probably end of August. Maybe we'll post something on the ControllerCast Instagram. I don't know, potentially. Yeah. Picture of the boys.
Wedding photo.
Yeah. And then like the night was perfect. It was honestly like everything I could have hoped for. You guys could go into it if you want, but I'll go into the honeymoon a little bit too. The honeymoon was amazing. The first night was kind of tough because we didn't plan on there being an MLB All-Stars game literally the night we got there. So like it took us about an hour and a half of driving around to find food, and we just ended up settling on McDonald's. And my dumbass showed up at the wrong Airbnb at first in like a bad part of town.
How does that happen?
There was the address was the exact same, but we were on like South Emerson Street, but we went to North Emerson Street, and we went into this person's backyard, and their like dog was barking at us, and we were like, oh shit, we're not at the right place. So that was a great time. After that, we spent the next day in Estes. We did ATV riding in the mountains, and that was a blast. They actually had us take one of their trucks with a trailer on the back, with the Polaris on it, up to the mountains ourselves. So we had to drive like 30 minutes through the mountains. There's like dirt roads. We had to turn around at one point with a truck and a trailer. And I had never driven, like I've driven a truck once, but never with a trailer. So that was a great experience.
Trailer, tractor, truck.
Trailer, truck, tractor, trailer. Yeah, that was that was an interesting experience though. I almost jackknifed it when I was trying to turn around. If someone can like key me in on how you're supposed to back up with a trailer, I'd love to know. Because that shit's impossible. We had a weird experience at the Stanley too. Maybe we'll do like a ghost, experience episode or something for Halloween. I won't get too into it because I could talk about it for like half an hour alone. Wednesday was pretty chill, since it was a little stormy and our ziplining thing got canceled for that day, so we got rescheduled to Thursday morning. We did go on a train ride though, and had beautiful mountain views. The conductor announced that we got married on the train, so that was pretty cool. We watched the finale of Loki that night and ordered Chinese, so it was pretty chill. Then Thursday we went ziplining, and that was amazing. I'm actually afraid of heights, so this was a little bit tough for me, but it actually ended up being like my favorite part of the honeymoon. We didn't know it involved a 20-minute hike up a steep mountainside, but that was part of the fun too. And then that night we saw Black Widow. It's okay. I don't have much to say about it, but we saw it in 4D RDX, which was insane. Like, if you've ever ridden on like kind of a virtual roller coaster, it's basically like that, but you're watching a movie the entire time. Like, it was absolutely ridiculous. And after a full day of ziplining, and like we went around shopping and stuff too, seeing that at 11 o'clock at night and getting thrown around in our seats, like, we were not prepared. The rest of the trip, we pretty much just spent it shopping and exploring. We had a blast, and I couldn't have possibly asked for a better honeymoon. I can't wait to see what life has in store for all of us, really. I mean, I know we're all going to be lifelong friends. We're doing this now, and hopefully we can do this for a really long time. And again, shout out to you guys, and all the people involved heavily with the wedding, because y'all put up with my bridezilla ass and helped it all go off the ditch. I literally, like, Casey was not hard to deal with. I was the difficult one. Not to mention all the amazing gifts we've got. That kind of leads me into the rest of my July. Pretty much most of it has been spent kind of getting back into the swing of things, trying to get a PS5. I had one in my grasp with the Target restock on the 30th, but for some reason I just couldn't check out with it. So I guess a bot beat me to it or something. But other than that, trying to think if we did anything else. Oh, we celebrated Jordan, Andrew's girlfriend's 21st birthday, so that was really fun. Went to Retro Rewind, did a lot of dancing, and then shout out Jared and Allison. We went to, and Alex Finken, if you're listening. It was fun seeing him. We went to a professional soccer game last night for Union Omaha. It ended in a tie, which is really lame. Like,
yeah, you missed the only goal that Omaha scored. You literally left the seat and they scored.
I missed the only goal because Casey and I were like, we hadn't been to a sporting event since before COVID, so we were like, we want funnel cake, we want cotton candy, we want ice cream, we want popcorn. So we got all of that, pizza, chicken tenders, tacos, margaritas. Dude, we spent like $100 last night. Just
John and
where was this game?
And they're carrying these like stacks of food, and I'm like, what the hell? How much food did you have to buy, dude? Like, and then the chicken strip tasted like bread.
It was the chicken strips were funky, but we went to Warner Park over in like Papillion, or where is it? Like Gretna?
Nah, it's like Papillion. It's like right off Interstate 80. It's like in a cornfield.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was pretty much all of our July. Me and Casey both. So yeah, I mean, what did you guys? Let me just pass it off to you guys. Like, what were maybe your favorite parts of the wedding weekend? Or I'll pass it off to Ursula. What were your favorite parts of like being in town and then like the wedding too?
I mean, it was just just getting to, be with you guys in that in that sort of event or moment. Like it was just,
It was your first American wedding.
yes, it was. And it was just even though the event itself was one day, like everything leading up to it, from when I got there, it did feel like a full like week-long event to some extent. With
This dude got his suit
yeah.
literally minutes before he had to leave.
Yeah, so we were all like, I think as John mentioned, we were staying at Graham's house the night before the wedding, all the groomsmen. So like once I was leaving for the rehearsal, like it was like I'm not coming back home until the wedding's done. And
Exactly.
and my stuff, my tux that I ordered like didn't fit, and it kept getting delayed while everyone else's came in, and I was literally like standing at the door, like walking back and forth, waiting, like hoping that it would come in. And it came in, like the replacement came in literally, like I think John said to me, like 7 minutes before I walked out, I walked out of my family's house to like go to the rehearsal. So it was literally like last minute timing.
Yeah.
And but just being there for the whole thing, like the rehearsal, the wedding itself, just having all of everyone's everyone's so close with each other, because it was like a smaller wedding. It was super fun. And now I'm glad you get to go through the ultimate PS5 journey.
Yeah.
The journey of having to get it.
Everyone has to do it.
So. it's the rite of passage or whatever.
Exactly.
But me and Andrew are gonna also keep a lookout, because it's hard. Like it's harder to get it now than it was when I got it, because I knew exactly.
Even when I got it.
Yeah, like I knew exactly when the time was opening up, so I was like sitting there ready at like 8 p.m. But
the restocks were like all reported, like
yeah for now. But like your situation right now, like they're restocking at like, for me, like at least like at like 4 a.m. For you, like like right when you wake up, like it's super early in the morning, which it's like I feel like they should do it at a time where it's convenient for regular people, because everyone already knows the bots, like all the scalpers are going to be trying to get it at that time.
And bots never sleep. Bots don't have to sleep, bro. They're always on.
Yeah,
exactly.
So yeah, that's kind of all that's my 2 cents on the wedding. It was a great experience, and I'm glad I was there for it. It was a honor, John, a privilege. So thank you.
It was a privilege to have you all there.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. That, like, I loved every single second of it. But Parker, Andrew, if you guys wanted to say anything.
Yeah, so I'll go into a little bit. So we started things off the night before doing the rehearsal and going to dinner. Got to hear Brad speak, which is John's dad. Got it. Kind of got to get a feel for everybody that's in the room. That's going to be a part of the wedding. And then after that, we went to Graham's and partied pretty much. And then the storm happened, which actually took out my power at my house for like 5 days. I had to stay at my parents after the wedding for a couple days. That was not fun. But other than that, man, it was that whole weekend leading up to the wedding and the whole night of was very special. I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm very honored, of course. And I felt like I built some relationships with people that I've really never got to be able to do that with before. So very fun time, and I hope we have another wedding soon.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, same. Y'all got to get on that.
For real. I'll
Andrew?
try, man. I'll try.
Ursel?
Hey, you're up to bat first,
Parker?
Chief.
Probably not soon for me, but Andrew or Arcel,
Who knows? Life is crazy.
we'll see, man. But Andrew, what did you have any insight, some extra thoughts on the wedding weekend?
Oh,
and
yeah.
then go into
Oh,
your
yeah.
vacation, dude. Andrew had a kick-ass vacation.
Yeah,
too.
I'll mesh these little bad boys together. I'll smash them together. So, John's wedding, I was the best man for it, which is a huge honor. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Andrew.
Had to get the bachelor party all set up earlier in the year, and then just kind of rock it into this weekend or into that weekend, not this
My
weekend.
slave for the year.
yeah, pretty much. No, but it was good. I came up with this like huge speech that I like wrote down, and then because I thought I was going first, and then I had to follow up the emotional ass parent speeches, and I was like, oh brother, like this guy stink, bro.
Our DJ totally ignored the order of speeches.
I know, so I was just kind of flying. I was kind of just like winging it halfway through. I was like, I gotta like fix it on the fly here and like amend it. But, I thought it went pretty good.
Great job.
Yeah. Thank you. I didn't do a very good job marketing Mr. John for the dollar dance. We got annihilated by the females in terms of dollars, but it's all good. The money all goes to the same place, so
I got a lot of dances. So.
Yeah, you did. But yeah, it was awesome. We were dancing all night, and I mean, shoot, it was like the whole meta of the pod and the friend group is like building up to this wedding, and now it's like over. We're like, whoa, what do we do now, bud?
Yeah, exactly.
We have to get something else big going that we can look forward to.
Squad trip. Big squad
yeah, but
trip.
then right after that, the next day we gotta see Arcel and Ben one more time, and then me and John were outie for the week.
Shout out Ben.
I went
shout
to
out
like
everyone that came in town.
Yeah, I was pretty much on the opposite side of the country. I went down to Florida with Jordan and her family for a week. So
DeSantis County.
Yeah, Mr. DeSantis's kingdom. So we went to Jacksonville and met up with her aunt that lives down there for a day, and then we ended up staying on this island called Amelia Island, which is just east of Jacksonville, right along the Atlantic Ocean. And it was really cool. It was like a cool little beach town. It's like a historic downtown, and all this stuff. We had this sandwich place. I can't remember what it's called, but it was like the owners like loved us. Like they gave Jordan's mom like a whole like huge tub of like potato salad for free when we like left, just because we went 2 days in a row. And they were super cool. And then spent all day at the beach those days. And then after Amelia Island, we went to good old Walt Disney World, the big old amusement park down there. Some of you might have heard of before. So we went there, and actually I'm like kind of glad we went when we did, because now this week they implemented a mask mandate again. So we actually didn't have to wear masks when we were down in Disney World, because they had just lifted it and now it's back on. So we kind of hit it at the perfect time, I think. But when we were there, man, they opened it back up to capacity, and it was busy. It was so busy. We actually lucked out, and for undisclosed reasons I shouldn't discuss, we got a fast pass, even though they're not doing it. So we got to every ride we wanted to, which was really awesome. We got to kind of, with the fast pass, you don't really have to wait in line. You kind of reserve a time, go do whatever other rides and attractions, and then come back after that time goes by. So
wait, you said you got a fast pass, but they weren't giving out fast passes?
There is if you Google how to get a fast pass during COVID, you can kind of assume how we got it. But I don't want to.
I was gonna say, like, I was like, wait, were you the only one with the fast pass? Like, did anyone like give you?
There were obviously other people with fast passes, but they're very there's special circumstances that nab you one now, just because of COVID. So. But we got to spend Jordan's birthday actually at Magic Kingdom, which is pretty cool. She had like a birthday pin on, so like all the characters and stuff were wishing her happy birthday and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's sweet.
And then
Drank around.
yeah, we went on what?
Drank around the world.
That was the next day. So when we were at Magic Kingdom, we hit all the rides. You know, good old Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, the Railroad one, all those. And no, I'm not a huge roller coaster guy, but I think Disney's roller coasters are like pretty tame, and they're like all like themed around specific characters and stuff. So it's like kind of like an immersive experience, which I thought was pretty cool. And then the next day we went to Epcot, which was our personal favorite park, just because they have the different nations around there, where they have like specific food and drinks from each nation, which is really cool. So we did the drink around the world thing. You know, it probably could have gotten a little sloppy, but there was like a massive like monsoon that came through, and we had to like stop drinking because all the food stands were outside. And it was like literally like I felt like I was like underwater, dude. It was like this constant like downpour of rain. So we did all that stuff, and then the third day we went to Hollywood Studios, which I thought I thought like out of the three, like none of them were bad. Like we didn't go to Animal Kingdom because we didn't really care that much about like Animal Kingdom, but I mean all three of them are good, but Magic Kingdom is definitely like at the bottom. Like Hollywood Studios is pretty awesome. We went on the Tower of Terror, which I was like everybody loves it, but I didn't really like it that much. But then we went on the Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster, and that roller coaster was badass. Like that's a sweet experience in there.
The Aerosmith one is the best one, I think.
Yeah,
at Disney World.
it's so cool,
I think it's the best
dude.
roller coaster.
It's like they're playing Aerosmith the whole time, and you're like speeding down like imaginary highways and stuff, and doing,
it's
like,
so
loops
fast.
and stuff. Yeah, it's
Like,
crazy awesome.
It's so fun.
And then at Hollywood Studios, we ended it at good old Galaxy's Edge, which was so fucking cool. Like the whole area was just like looked like you were in a Star Wars movie. And we sadly didn't get on Rise of the Resistance because they have like an online reservation system, and it got booked. Literally, we got on and at like checked the line at 1:01, and it was already full. Like people like reserved every spot in 1 minute. And so we unfortunately didn't get to go on that, but we got to go on the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, which is like you're basically like in a flight simulator, and it's like a whole screen around you, and it looks like you're flying the Millennium Falcon, and it like reacts to all the inputs you do. Like you crash and you like shake, and you like hit light speed, and you like get thrown back in your seat. It's so cool. That's and then cool. Yeah, so I built this is really good podcasting radio right here where everybody can see, but I built this BB-8 that actually you can remote control, which is pretty sweet. Cute. And then Jordan's little sister's boyfriend, Tyson, he built like a lightsaber, and you could bring a guest. So I didn't get to make one, but I watched them. It was super cool. Like you like pick out your kyber crystal, and then they have this whole thing where you like the lights turn off and all the lightsabers just like all activate at the same time. It was super cool. So if you're going to Disneyland or World, I would highly recommend Galaxy's Edge if you're a Star Wars fan. It's kind of like they design most of it around like the Disney movies, which is, I mean, if you don't like the Disney movies, you can at least probably appreciate the atmosphere that they create. But yeah, then we flew back, and now I'm here back in very exciting Omaha.
Depression is, I can just see the depression hitting Andrew's face while he's saying that.
The wheels of the plane, the wheels of the plane hit the ground in Omaha, and I immediately like all my dopamine and serotonin just dropped to the floor.
Same.
But you know, it's all good. We're here.
And Disneyland was so great, and now I'm back. And
yeah, Disney World was so awesome, and now I'm back home. So.
And now I'm
back on the corporate train.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I want to go out there and to the Disneyland one, because it's like a drive away for me.
Yeah, in Disneyland, the one thing I was disappointed in was I thought Avengers Campus was at both of them, but it's only at Disneyland. So I was like,
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I was kind
Yeah.
of disappointed in that, but
Disneyland's been stepping up their game, dude.
yeah, Disney World had at Epcot they had a Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster that they weren't finished with yet, and I was like, damn, it opens in like literally October. I was like,
Disneyland,
damn.
it's finished. It's
Is it
finished with
really?
Disneyland.
And
Yeah.
now
Yeah,
the shitty part is now when I go to Disneyland, it'll be my first time. I have to pay for it.
Brutal.
And because of everything going on, you'll probably have to wear a mask. Depending
Yeah,
on
I
where
probably
you go.
will not go for a while, actually, now that I remember that Delta is big in California. I'll probably hold off.
Yeah.
But no, yeah,
Yeah.
I've gone to like Disneyland like so many times, and every time like 10 plus times, and I've gone for free every time.
That's insane.
Just because of like they have these like if you have like people like family that works there, and I have family that work there, and like you can get like these passes, which you can I guess give out, and like you can go for free or something. But
So you still don't have family that works there?
not
You
anymore.
don't anymore?
Not anymore. The person that worked there, they retired. So like, yeah. So not a thing anymore, sadly. I wish it
Squad
was.
trip to Florida for
Yeah.
Disney World.
Or
Disney.
Disneyland is not far from Tempe.
It's like,
True.
do I really want to go to Miami or Orlando?
Orlando.
Orlando's better than.
Orlando.
It's just so humid there. But yeah, honestly, I need to go to Disney World, considering how many times I've gone to land.
Yeah, I have
haven't
relatives
been either.
actually in Florida. So I mean, if we need a place to stay, I bet they would let us.
Ooh,
Uma.
that's enticing.
So that would be a squad trip idea. I feel like that could be something put together.
Ooh, there we go.
Ooh.
I know Casey and I are trying to go for our 1 year anniversary to probably Disney World, but we'll see. We'll see where things.
Oh
are.
yeah, it
I've been to
reset.
both.
It
I've been to
reset.
both.
You're back at 1 year.
I know, dude. Yeah, literally. July 10th now is our 1 day mark now.
Dang.
Officially, so.
That's crazy.
John,
July 10th
don't
of
use your
next year.
best anniversary gifts so soon though.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah. We're gonna be going to Greece and stuff eventually. Like we eventually want to travel outside of the US, but we want to hit like bucket list stuff in the
You want so no. This is what you need to know. You do the international traveling before you have the kid.
You do
I
Disney
don't
World
wanna
before you
take-
have the kids, bro.
That too. Yeah, we got a lot of traveling to do.
Yeah. You gotta hit up all those international spots. Hit up as many
It would be
vacation spots.
easier.
Yeah, hit up as many vacation spots as you can for best case scenario before the kid is born. But even if the kid is born, you probably have a little bit of time to, you could take the kid around properly before they go to school. Like ages 4 to 10, that's like I feel like that's like game over. Game over.
Yep.
Yeah. Hangover. Game over.
Out of all the
Hangover,
places I've
hangover.
traveled to, probably the best vacation spot that you guys need to go to at just at least one point, Hawaii. Hawaii is just a whole nother experience. You feel like you're like
around the idea of going to Hawaii for our honeymoon, but
you
it was
feel
just
so
expensive.
isolated because you're like on an island way out in the middle of the ocean. Like you feel like you're completely isolated from the rest of the world. It is just absolutely stunning, beautiful.
You know what would be my like preferred style wedding? I would want it to be like tropical island, right? Like in the Bahamas, or like Hawaii or something like that. But it would only be like 20 to 40 people. Like
That would be sick.
but I know that wouldn't happen just because
I know your family wouldn't allow that.
Yeah, anyone who's familiar with Pakistani weddings know it's hundreds of people at the least. So that would not happen. But like a man can dream. Maybe that could be like a separate private ceremony kind of thing. Who knows? But
Yeah.
But that would be a dream, and give everyone a few years head notice. Like you're gonna go 2 years from now.
Save up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Save the dates 2 years in advance.
Yeah. I feel like you got to with that sort of thing. But anyways, we just talked about a lot, but that was actually probably the first half of, this episode, just catching up with our own personal lives. But now, as tradition dictates, we got to get into the news, and there's a lot to talk about. A lot has happened, and I'm excited to talk with you guys about a lot of this stuff because there's a lot of interesting stuff to get into. But we're going to try to split it up a little more into sections here. We're going to start off with the sports world because there's a lot to talk about with that. But let's start off with the Olympics. Andrew, I know you've been really paying attention to that. So kind of give us a rundown of what's going on in the world of Tokyo.
Oh yeah, man. You know, the Olympics going on, the US is kicking everybody's shit in the medal count just to salute the flag, everybody. My patriotism comes out immensely every 2 years when each winter and summer Olympics I'm like a hyper nationalist. Like you'd think I voted for that one guy if you only knew me those couple times, but it's like these Olympics, when they have them on the other side of the world, it's kind of hard because like the stuff happens while you're sleeping and then you wake up and you see the score and then it's on TV like that night before you go to bed again. So it's like
everything's already happened.
Yeah, they show like the basketball at night, but the basketball game happened like 12 hours before, so I already know what happened. So then I'm like, I'm not watching that again. Like the US national team got beat by like Nigeria or some shit. Like
you have to be willfully ignorant to like everything happening. To enjoy it.
I mean, I'll give them this. When I wake up to work, like I think it's like okay, so I wake up at like 6:15 to like go to the gym before I start working. So like it's like 8 p.m. in Tokyo, so I can watch like some of the finals of like those events. Like I watched like the women's soccer game when I woke up on Friday, and like I was watching like the swimming events and whatever. I mean, it's all right. It's just still hard with like such a huge delay, just because it's like, NBC wants to keep everything in prime time. So then they like don't show anything all day, even though there's events going on pretty much until like, I don't know, like 10 a.m.
Yeah, dude, working from home, I could have it on in the background.
I know, which it like kind of stinks, but I mean, it's all right. It's the Olympics. It's just hard to get like excited this year. Obviously, because of the pandemic, this games was delayed a year. There's like a state of emergency in all of Japan right now because of all the COVID cases. And then all the stands are empty. So there's like not a whole lot of like hype around the events, which kind of stinks. But
I can also tell that the athletes are not where they would be if none of this happened.
There's been a lot of world records broken.
There's been upsets as well.
Yeah. If you're listening to this, I don't. Do you guys care about hearing what happened in the 100-meter dash?
Go ahead,
dude. An Italian man won the 100-meter dash. Like what?
The gold?
Yes, the gold medal.
What?
I don't know if Jamaica didn't make it in the finals because I didn't even see a Jamaican in the finals.
Did the US make it to the finals?
Yeah, they got silver. And then a Canadian guy got third. So I was like, I saw that. I was like, what? Like, by the time this pod comes out, I think it'll actually be like airing like right when this episode comes out. But by the time you get to this point in the podcast, if you start listening at 6 p.m. Central, I think it'll already happen on TV. But I mean, geez, man, that was like insane. I was like, I didn't even know Italy had like sprinters. Like, but swimming's been pretty good. I mean, Caleb Dressel is just raked in medals this year, which is insane. Like,
yeah,
he's just we were watching the 4x100 like medley last night, and they were in like lane 1, which if you don't know like how swimming and track works, like lane 1 and like it goes like slowest to fastest, with the fastest like in the middle. So like 1 and 8 are like the slowest. I mean, they're Olympic athletes, but then you go like in every 2 is like faster and faster, and then the 5th lane or in 4th lane are the 2 fastest. And the US is on the outside lane, and Caleb Dressel just like brought them back from like death, and like like they won, which was insane. I think they won it like 5 straight Olympics now, the 4x100, which is crazy.
Dude, I gotta watch the replay on that.
But we always love the Olympics. We like seeing America. Everybody gets super patriotic in the team games when we beat a country that has like 30% running water in their country, and everybody's like, yes. Oh yeah, there we go, baby. But
America,
American pride.
You know what? The funny thing about it is that like that this is the 2020 Olympics.
I know, they
Like-
didn't rebrand anything. And then, like, the next Winter Olympics are literally in
18 months.
6 months.
Oh,
Like,
wait, what?
Really?
yeah, in February.
Oh, dang.
Oh, what?
So usually, like,
And then
between
they-
this, when the summer ends, there's usually a year and a half before the winter ones. But since it got pushed here, the winter ones are in February of 22. So, like, literally 6 months from today, I think.
Guys, remember, if we want to plan this far ahead, in 2028, the LA Olympics will be happening.
Yes,
Dude,
and
we
and
need to go
and
straight up.
let me
Need to go.
confirm this quick. But I think the 2026 World Cup is in the USA.
What? Oh
Everything
my
just-
gosh.
The 2020, the Roaring 20s.
The
Yeah,
Roaring
20
20s.
2026, they will have the World Cup in America. Or oh wait, it's a joint one. It'll be in Canada, Mexico, and the United States.
Ooh.
And they
Hopefully
will
the U.S.
be-
makes a World Cup.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're gonna
that'd be
have
hilarious
they're gonna
if
have
we
World
did.
Cup games in Denver, KC, Atlanta, LA, New York, DC, and Houston.
KC.
Oh wait, no, and shit, I don't know. Oh, there's a
Omaha?
lot. Jesus. No, not Omaha.
That'd be
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah,
That would
I mean
be
it'll be
crazy.
all over. I might get tickets for the KC games. I don't know where the
Yeah,
final
we
will be,
should.
but
Let's do it.
hell
LA
yeah.
Olympics too.
2028.
Yeah, so that
2028.
is that's the Olympics, baby.
Who knows?
Keep
Maybe I'll be
watching.
living in LA in 2028.
Who
Who
knows?
knows?
7 years away.
So Parker, I know you were somehow became a NBA fan overnight. So you want to you want to talk about the finals, bud? Bucks
Yeah.
and 6.
Man, that
Six.
it was just such a
Wow.
disappointing end to the finals. Like there were a couple games that the Sun. So if you didn't know, the Suns went off to a 2-0 lead. Then the Milwaukee Bucks just couldn't stop from there. They won 4 games straight and won the series. And some of the games for Phoenix just ended so horribly wrong. Like there's one game where Chris Paul slipped on the ground and turned the ball over. There's another one where Devin Booker
the thing
got
is,
stripped.
Chris Paul just just honestly, Phoenix in general, they just weren't playing to win it. I feel like it didn't look like their head was in the right space. That entire final run.
After they went up 2-0, they were like on cruise control the rest of the series.
Another problem for the Suns was that they couldn't rebound, like on either side of the floor. So and Milwaukee was just a bigger team, so Phoenix was just kind of getting pushed around for the latter half of the series.
Well, I felt like Phoenix didn't make any attempt to improve their game in the paint. They were just trying to like shoot threes too.
Yeah, literally. They were
It's
just
because
they kept
Milwaukee wasn't letting
messing
them in
up.
the
At least
paint.
like game 3 and 4. I don't know if they might have won one of those games, but they sputtered out.
Yeah, Phoenix
back
doesn't really
out.
have any like big time wing players to like actually go to the rim. Like Milwaukee was just not letting him go to the rim.
Giannis.
So they were just Phoenix was just putting up a bunch of threes because of that, and it led to disaster, man. It just spiraled out
Yeah,
of
the
control.
the funniest part was during one of the post game conferences. What is someone asked Book how frustrated do you feel for Chris right now?
Next question, please.
And Chris Paul had the biggest face ever. Like I was dying laughing. Like everyone should go watch that clip of Chris Paul will look like he was about to beat the shit out of whoever asked that question.
Yeah, he looked pissed off, bro. He gave like the what?
Yeah,
Kinda
What was
look.
the question?
But then Devin Booker just said, "Next question, please." Like they just passed it off.
Someone asked Devin Booker, "How frustrated are you for Chris right now?"
Which is the dumbest question in the world. That is why. Like
What the heck?
Devin Booker's obviously not frustrated with his teammate, even though they lost a game. It's like they're who cares? Just let him
Yeah,
play.
yeah.
Don't ask him stupid questions like that and expect like a good answer. Like,
Right.
come on.
As
Reporters
a
are ridiculous.
as an
sometimes.
Arizona resident, as a long time Phoenix Suns fan, very long time.
Very long.
It just absolutely breaks my heart to see the Phoenix Suns. They kicked the bucket at the very end, just tore my heart into pieces. I was bedridden. I couldn't move.
You've been waiting for this moment for your entire life, and they shit it away.
Literally since before I was born.
My godfather was Charles Barkley.
I was waiting for this moment, and Chris Paul, CP3, became Mr. Turnover.
Yeah, you know how in the commercial, the State Farm commercials, he literally turns into a basketball?
Yes.
That's exactly what happened to him, like down the stretch.
But no, in all seriousness, I've actually been in terms of basketball, I've always been with the Lakers. But I did want the Suns to win. It would have been exciting. I will say very, very cool to be in a city that is in the finals. Even though we didn't win, it was still you can feel the energy in the air. You can feel the excitement everywhere you go. Being in that sort of national level, being in that city, just is, it's a different kind of feeling. And it was really exciting to be there, even though I wasn't some longtime fan of the Phoenix Suns. Just being a part of that environment was really, really cool. But obviously they lost, but it was cool to just experience that even a little bit, because very few cities get to experience that. And
I will also give a shout out to Giannis Antetokounmpo, Finals MVP. He kicked Phoenix's booty, so you got to give him credit. Yeah,
you can say ass.
Yeah, he kicked their ass straight up. They're
an explicit pod, technically.
Yeah, he dunked on Phoenix quite a lot, made him look silly. Scored 50 in Game 6. Just went
insane.
off. So he deserved that MVP. Massive shout out to Giannis. He's really, really funny guy off the court as well.
Did one of his teammates get his new shoes before him?
Yeah, he paid $250,000 to get them. But yeah, PJ Tucker got Giannis's shoes before him. But
so funny.
Speaking of basketball and entertainment, we're gonna start talk about the new movie that LeBron James came out with after losing to the Phoenix Suns in the first round.
4-time Emmy winner, Oscar-winning actor LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron James. This Space Jam really was kind of expected to be this great thing. Michael Jordan did the first one, I think it was 25 years ago at this point. That's how many years old the old one is. So people were expecting big things, man. This is LeBron James. This is the new age Space Jam, Bugs Bunny, bro. But honestly, Space Jam just wasn't that. Well, I'll get more into it as I kind of talk about it. So the first part of the movie really starts out with LeBron's family and them just kind of going through their kind of struggles as a family, just how I think his name is Dom or Damn or something. Damn. I don't even remember.
Damn kid.
Damn, did you just say bruh?
But he basically makes video games, and so he made this basketball game that is all it's not real. It's not like 2K at all. It uses special moves. You get extra points. All that crazy shit.
Doesn't sound like 2K.
Yeah, not at all. And he basically used, I think it was Anthony Davis. What's Diana? I know there's a Diana. Dame Lillard as well. Diana from the WNBA, really weird looking woman. But
Jesus,
they
okay.
made her a snake character when she was on the like crazy team. But after that, it really just goes into Warner Brothers dick sucking, and it's really bad. So they basically go in the Warner Brothers studios and they show LeBron this idea of, hey, we can put you into any movie you want, any video game you want. And it's just more, it's also LeBron cocksucking throughout this time because he talks about himself in such a big manner, how everybody loves LeBron and everybody follows his social media, and the beginning of the movie is so boring. It's really terrible, honestly, at the start. And it really goes into Warner Brothers cocksucking, like as they're assembling the Toon Squad. They're going through all these Warner Brothers movies. They're going through The Matrix. They're going through the DC universe, even like just all this Warner Brothers stuff. It's basically an advertisement for Warner Brothers, and it's really, really not good. It has really funny cameos throughout this time. Like at least you can laugh at some of the cameos that they put in to these scenes, but overall this first half of the movie was very, very piss poor in my opinion. It really sucked. But the later part of the movie is where it kind of gets more fun and a little bit less of a cocksucking advertisement. Seriously, that's literally what it was. LeBron James advertisement and Warner Brothers advertisement first half of the movie. But then they get into the actual game, where the Toon Squad plays against the villains. After
I heard that it's the Toon Squad versus
the Goon Squad. It's a Goon Squad. Yeah, there it is. But it was pretty fun. There's a special glitch play that they used, but I won't get into it too much and spoil it. You kind of got to watch it yourself, but this was the more fun part of the movie. Some fun quotes.
So.
There's one part.
I might watch it.
Yeah, but there's one point where they say, "Oh, you're getting Michael Jordan on your team," but then fucking Michael B. Jordan comes out. There's some funny cameos, but overall the movie is just above average. Like it's worth watching because it's just ridiculous and goofy. It's above average. It's above average, like because the later half of the movie kind of actually is good, in my opinion. There's some cheesy moments, of course, but you got to expect that coming into a Space Jam movie. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Honestly, about average, barely above it. Really nothing special, but it's a goofy kids movie. You can't expect it to be like The Shining,
Citizen Kane.
Yeah,
yeah.
You can't expect big things like groundbreaking shit out of this movie because you're setting yourself up for disappointment in that case. So 6.5 out of 10 already.
So
let's move on. Yeah. I'm done talking about that shit.
Yeah. Well, from here it'll be it's gonna, what is it? Me and John are gonna take the mantle for a second and talk about a bunch of comic book shit, specifically with the MCU. So let's kick it off. Podcasts and web shows are on the rise, and for good reason. They're great sources of entertainment and can be great listens in multitudes of situations like long drives or intense study sessions. Maybe, just maybe, you have an idea for a show or podcast that you want to put out into the world. Well, lucky for you, it's never been easier to jump into podcasting thanks to the wonderful people at Anchor.fm. Anchor takes care of most of the back-end work of podcasts. No more are the days of coordinating releases on multiple platforms, paying for a podcast hosting subscription to hold your RSS feed, or other hassles. Anchor sets up your podcast on all the major podcast platforms like Spotify and Apple automatically. They even provide sleek and easy-to-use editing tools that can be accessed from your phone or computer to get your podcast to the world through the path of least resistance.
Anchor also matches you up with sponsors so that you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and even gives you in-depth stats for your shows like total plays, regions of viewership, as well as what kind of devices your show is being listened on. Here's the best part about all of this. It's free. So what are you waiting for? Anchor has everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. If you're ready to add your voice and vision to the mix, it's never been easier. And I highly recommend you go the way of Anchor.fm, just like the ControllerCast did. So here you go. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm to get started. That's Anchor.fm.
All right. So the big thing worth talking about, John, I just want to, I guess, get it started here with you, is give us your, thoughts on Loki. Give us breakdown or a review of it.
Yeah, so Loki was really good. I really enjoyed how different it was from especially that stinker that was Captain whatever and the
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I already forgot the name, dude. It's so bad. I mean, so bad in comparison. So Loki, it basically kind of takes off from the events after you see Loki steal the Tesseract accidentally in Endgame, or not accidentally, but like, Tony Stark messed up. So it takes off from there, and you meet the Time Variance Authority, which is this group of people that supposedly have control of everyone's lives, and everything that has happened from the beginning of time until the end of time. So without spoiling like the entire story, I guess it goes from there, and Loki meets some other I can't think of the word, but universe versions of himself. One being a female, one being an alligator, an old man. They're variants. So that's what they're called. But they pretty much are just trying to figure out the ins and outs of the Time Variance Authority and like why they're doing what they're doing. Do they actually have control? Who's actually behind it? And like midway through the series, they meet the timekeepers, but they're like holograms, or not real. They're robots. They're robots, so they're not real people. So they're like, okay, what's going on here? So the Time Variance Authority starts collapsing, essentially. I don't know. Should I get into spoilers, Ursel, or?
Yeah. I think the most interesting thing to talk about is spoil. Like you can't. Yeah, the end, and obviously anything spoiler-y, really.
So after you see throughout that people that are acting up in the TVA, they get like
pruned.
Yeah, they get pruned, which sends them to this, I guess, planet or universe that everyone that is a variant that is messing with the sacred timeline, they are sent to this universe that gets eaten by this giant gas cloud of whatever. So it's kind of a weird, like, you don't really get a great explanation of what the gas cloud actually is, or like where it came from. And correct me if I'm wrong, Ursula, but I don't think it did. But all the Lokis from different universes are on this planet, and they Loki, the main Loki that you see throughout the Avengers universe, and his female counterpart, they use their powers to take over the body of this gas cloud and like take over its thoughts to figure out who is behind all of this. And what they come to find out, which is insane, and this is going to kick off the entire next Avengers series, I'm sure. And I thought they weren't going to be doing this with the TV shows, but I think it's awesome they are. Mm-hmm. And I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Something the Conqueror.
Kang.
Kang, yes. I wanted to say gang. Like gang. Kang the Conqueror is going to be the next big bad of the Marvel universe, or so we assume. So I'm really excited with all of this to see where the Marvel universe goes. We know multiverse madness is a thing. We know that the new Spider-Man is going to have the multiverse idea. There's the Marvel What If coming. So the whole multiverse idea is really starting to come to the forefront for Marvel. So I think we're starting to get a really good direction, and we have been, I think, for a little bit, but we really know the direction that Marvel's going. And you know, I think there were moments of Loki that were kind of slow, but overall, I think it was one of Marvel's best pieces of entertainment, really, that they put together. It was an epic story. I think WandaVision, if I were to compare the two directly, WandaVision's a lot more unique, but Loki just feels so much like the Avengers universe and the Avengers story, and it feels like Loki's going to be a really big player as maybe an Avenger now, finally, like legitimately. But I love Loki. If I were to rate it, I'd probably give it an 8.5. It's great. It's really great. One of the best things they put out, and the highest rating that I've given a Marvel like movie or anything is the 9, maybe a 9.5 on a certain day, like right after watching Infinity War. But Ursula, why don't you give your thoughts, because I could probably ramble.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the ending with you for a little bit, but I'll kind of give my general thoughts. Yeah, I really enjoyed the show. I'm glad we finally got the multiverse payoff that like they've been talking about or hinting about forever. Like everything that's been coming out since Endgame. You know, it's the second Spider-Man movie. Like I know now we're talking about the third one, but like with Far From Home, there's the discussion of the multiverse back then. Every release, there's been discussion of the multiverse. So now it's finally happening. But yeah, I really liked the show. I thought Owen Wilson in the show was really, really great. I thought Loki was fantastic. I thought a lot of the characters honestly were really well done. And I thought the concept was super interesting and super high level. And I thought they did a good way of presenting something that's usually really confusing. But what is it? I think I did feel underwhelmed for a lot of the show's runtime. I felt like I don't know, like I felt like it kind of went back and forth between having one really good episode and one episode, and then one really good episode and then one episode. Like specifically the one on the planet where the planet's about to crash down on them, or the meteor's about to crash down on them and kill them all. And you know, I thought that was kind of a filler episode. I think episode 5 even, I wasn't like super hot on it. And I also thought that that whole romance that they got going on with Loki and his the girl Loki, female Sylvie, I thought it was really cringe, kind of uncomfortable. I'm gonna be completely honest. I was like, yeah, I don't know about this one. But the
like
show
dating your sister.
Yeah, it's like is Marvel okay with incest? But like is that being promoted? But yeah, I thought it kind of fluctuated in quality a lot. But I thought overall it was still something super enjoyable, something that kept me interested, something I couldn't say for something like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I think it's a little bit of the opposite situation of WandaVision, where I thought WandaVision's like first 6 episodes were really, really strong. And I felt like it got weaker towards the end, where Loki, I thought it was kind of a little all over the place, but I felt like they really landed the finish. They like that final episode fantastic. And it was really cool that it was
the landing.
Yeah, I thought it was really nice and cool, like, and different really, that the final episode was really just, for the most part, three people sitting down and talking. And I thought that was cool. And yeah, it's interesting to see where things can go now with King the Conqueror. I haven't been, I didn't think I would be this excited for something in the MCU after Endgame. But I am, because they can literally do anything they want now. Anything can happen. Anything is fair game. So it's super exciting, where they could take it with, how many different ways they can combine properties, like we're already seeing
X-Men.
the next, X-Men, Fantastic Four. We're already seeing the next Spider-Man is going to have Doctor Strange in it. We know the next Doctor Strange is going to have Wanda in it, or Scarlet Witch in it. Like, they're really doing these like smaller crossovers, and everything's really like overlapping and folding onto each other. And I really loved the last episode, and there's a lot of like implications it has, or like, if you really start thinking about it, it can start getting confusing. Like why, if he can see everything, why would he like allow a moment to happen where he like loses his power and everything goes to shit? Like, but also, there's so much ambiguity with everything that's happening, where like they could, you don't know if he's telling the truth about what he could be telling the truth about. But I think he's a super cool villain, King the Conqueror, that, this guy has like been through every timeline. He's seen everything. And like the only thing that scares him to this point, the only thing that can defeat him is like himself, it seems like. So I'm really excited to see like these different versions of Kang. And I'm excited to see where they go with something like Loki Season 2, because Loki is getting a Season 2. I don't know if anyone, you guys know that.
Right. I forgot.
Yeah.
Actually.
But I'm really happy they did something of like consequence in one of these TV shows, because this is probably the most important event in the MCU, like more than even the blip that Thanos did. If you really think about it, this is endless timelines opening up and crossing over each other, which is super cool to think about. So I really loved that last episode. And honestly, I'm kind of in I think I'm gonna probably give the show like an 8.5 as well. I think it's probably tied with WandaVision, like now that I'm a little bit detached away from it, like in terms of my enjoyment for both. Just because I think WandaVision had a stronger start but a weaker end, but Loki had a weaker middle but a strong beginning and strong ending. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. John, I wanted to ask you, I guess kind of lead right into this. What do you think about the Marvel What If TV show? Are you excited about that?
I actually am. I've been seeing a lot of tweets about it and stuff, and honestly, like, I don't know what to expect. I have no idea. Like, I'm seeing like a duck, an animated duck on
Howard
screen.
the Duck.
Who's the duck?
Howard the Duck.
What's he from? Is he from Marvel?
He's like a low-key Marvel character. Like he's like a meme Marvel character. Like he's only showed up as like an Easter egg in the Marvel movies. Like he's in Guardians of the Galaxy, like hanging out in the background, like in some scene. Like he's not an actual character, but he's just there. But
I think it's really interesting, like, that fans have all of these what if questions, and Marvel's gonna be, producing an animated series on potentially fans' what if questions. Like, what if this happened instead of that within the Marvel universe? I think it's really cool.
I want to ask you a question. And I'll give you the question. I'll answer it, and I want to hear your answer too. What would be your one what if scenario? Like if you could see it happen, now that anything can happen, literally anything happen. But also like if you could see it in the TV show or anything, what would be your what if, that you'd like to see happen?
Oh yeah,
in the show.
Yours
oh, in the TV show. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I would like to see like if like maybe what if Thanos didn't get the Infinity Stones, and if it was like um Ultron? Like, what if like Ultron got the Infinity Stones? I feel like that would be a cool story to see, because I actually think Ultron is like an underrated bad guy in the movies. I think he's super badass, but that's mine. What about you, John?
My biggest what if would be, what if Thor went for the head, dude?
Oh,
What
it
if
just
Thor
ended.
went for the head at the end of Infinity War? Yeah, I would have loved to see, like, I mean, I guess that would have just been like game over.
Yeah.
But like
Everyone
then
still
again,
lives.
you know, with the way Endgame ends, like Steve Rogers is able to go back and wow, frog in my throat, relive like his life and like actually enjoy his life. So, you know, it's one of those things where like it was meant to be, but like I don't know. That would be my biggest what if. What if Thor went for the head?
Well, I guess, what is it? Yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to, but something that I didn't really care for, but I know you experienced. I don't know if you wanted to share any more on it, but you did end up also seeing Black Widow.
Yeah,
Do you have any quick thoughts on it or rating or anything like that?
I'd probably give it a solid 6. I mean, honestly, dude,
Worse than
there was
Falcon?
yeah, there was nothing to it. There was honestly like there was nothing to it. I mean, I don't remember it at all hardly. Like I was more in tune with like the shaking of the seats cuz we saw it late at night on our honeymoon in 40 RDX. So like wind was flying at us, we were shaking around, our popcorn and drink was spilling everywhere. Like it's ridiculous, but um it was okay. I mean, if it had come out like in
When it was supposed to?
2011,
Yeah.
like then I think it would have been a little bit more valuable, but like all it did was show us that yeah, Black Widow's a badass. Okay? We already knew that. Like I don't know. It was okay.
It's just
I
dumb
don't
that like
I don't even remember it enough to give like a good short plot summary either. It was so forgettable.
it's just dumb that like they had such a strong like character in Black Widow, but they had to wait until like pretty much Wonder Woman proved that there could be like a popular female superhero film for them
Yeah.
to start getting the ball rolling on it. But now it's like it feels like too little, too late. And speaking of too little, uh, Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney for essentially a breach of contract on their end. So just to give you guys the rundown of what's going on, in her contract that she had for this film, uh, her part of her earnings were supposed to come from the box office revenue of Black Widow, and they promised, an exclusive theatrical run, because if you have it only in theaters, that's gonna pretty much get people to go to the theater to see the film, as opposed to if it's somewhere else, people might be inclined to watch it at home, which is what happened. The movie made like 60 million at least, just in the, I think, first weekend on Disney Plus, um, which is a lot of money. But she didn't get any of that profit. And, the Disney Plus is still going to keep making money, but she's not getting a cut of any of that revenue. And she was upset. She tried to renegotiate her contract, but I guess Disney ghosted her. But yeah, so she's entering a legal battle to pretty much get her proper earning share. What do you guys think of this? Do you think um, Disney could be right in any situation? I feel like this is a pretty black and white circumstance where it feels like Disney were being greedy assholes. But Andrew, what's your outsider take on something like this?
I mean, I think there was a tweet that said it best. It was like, I'm all against people getting like the rich getting richer, but it would be hilarious if actors just like made Disney shit their pants for once. Which is like, I mean, on this situation, I feel like Disney could almost like use the cop out that like use the virus as like one of those act of God clauses that a lot of contracts have, where it's like nobody's when they signed her up for a contract, there's no way anybody could see like this pandemic happening and like movie theaters largely being closed. I mean, by the time the movie came out, they weren't really closed, but Disney had already like, and all the streaming services have already established this like dual release system. I mean, I think, morally, I think it's shitty of Disney, but I think like legally they'll probably win. I don't know though.
No, I agree. Andrew.
I'm definitely not a lawyer, but this just screams like one of those like act of God like instances because of like a natural disaster, basically.
From what we learned in like business law and shit
in
college, like we were on contract law for half the class, and like this is basically one of those situations where I'm sure that Disney's gonna get out. Not having to pay Scarlett.
Do you think? But do you think it puts them in the wrong at all? Like that she was trying to reach out to renegotiate and.
Oh yeah, I think they're more definitely in the wrong morally, but legally, I don't think they are.
Yeah, legally, and that's just because of our crappy legal system that's not based on ethics. It's based on other bullshit. Like this, if this, then that, then that, then that, if this, then that, if this, then that. Like that's our legal system, and the fact that it is that way, Disney's gonna get away with this. And not necessarily get away with it because, it was I mean, it's a strange time. The movie went into production before COVID was a thing, or a thing in our minds anyway. But yeah, from what I know about contract law, Scarlett is either going to have to renegotiate the contract and already lose out probably on all those earnings that already happened, or Disney is just going to be like, yep,
I could see
same contract.
I could see this ending in like a settlement. I feel like I could see this ending in some sort of...
I feel like there could be some sort of payout for Scarlett. Like, I feel like that would just be
she's
the right thing to do.
in the MCU, so Disney doesn't really care.
Well, what is it? Because she's suing them. I don't know if you guys also saw this though. Emma Stone and Emily Blunt, they're also suing Disney now as well. Because I guess behind the scenes, a lot of actors who had their contract signed before this whole thing have been frustrated by this whole dual release system. So I guess a few people have been essentially waiting for a big actress like Scarlett to take up arms against like the streaming services. So now you have Emma Stone and like Emily Blunt also, I think, about to sue Disney for the same situation except on their end. So I'm kind of curious if actually I could see them coming through if this gains enough steam. But who knows? But I guess moving on from there, I just want to do a quick heat check for the Suicide Squad. How's everyone feeling about this one? Now that the reviews are coming out, this thing is a far cry from the review scores of the original one. The original movie is like I think it has a 28 on Rotten Tomatoes, and this movie has, I believe, a 99 currently on Rotten Tomatoes. And it's being made by the guy who made Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm pretty hyped actually, which is funny. I would never think I'd be hyped for the sequel to this to Suicide Squad. But I think it'll be pretty fun. I mean, it almost looks like a superhero version, like if Quentin Tarantino was like making a superhero film. That's what it almost like feels like from the trailers. But I'm excited. I just want to gauge the rest of you guys. Maybe we can talk about it.
I think it'll be good. I mean, I like James Gunn and his directing for Guardians of the Galaxy. So, I mean, and with the reviews kind of backing it up, I don't see how it would be bad. Like, I'll definitely go watch it.
And it'll be at home.
Watching. Yeah.
HBO probably.
Yeah, same.
If it's on HBO, I'm definitely watching.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe
it could be an episode.
Yeah, maybe that could be the next episode. So who knows? Suicide Squad.
Yeah, because that drops Thursday
or Friday. So maybe. But okay, cool. I just wanted to gauge the room on that one.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah. But now shifting over, now we're going into music. I just want to talk about a few things that have been popping up. Andrew, specifically, I wanted to talk with you about this one because I feel like it deserves a little bit of a shout out. At least I wanted to give it a shout out. The new Tyler the Creator album. This is probably my favorite album of the year. It's really, really good in my opinion. But I just want to ask you what you thought about it.
I mean, I've only listened through it once. I thought it was pretty good. There's some really good catchy tracks on there. I mean, I liked his last release, Igor. I think his direction that he's been going in lately has been very good. I don't know. I feel like not enough music I'm interested has come out this year to like knock it off of the top album so far. But I mean, it's a really good album. I enjoyed listening to it. I'll probably have to listen through it again to get a better opinion. But just based off my first listen through, I thought it was an excellent album.
Did you like what was the one before Igor? Flower Boy. Weren't you big on that? I feel like
I've liked his past. I mean, I like all of his music, but I think his past couple albums have been really strong.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because like with these past few albums and this one, I feel like Tyler the Creator is like one of the best in the game now.
I know,
like,
I know, he's definitely up there, and I think like even outside of music, I think he's hilarious. So I mean, I'm all for Tyler the Creator.
Yeah, but yeah, I just wanted to give that album a shout out because I'm like loving it right now. But I guess keeping on with the album news.
Wake up, Mr. West.
Yeah, this one I want everyone to chime in on. Just so as a little unexpected, I guess. Probably if you asked all of us at the beginning of July, we probably wouldn't be expecting to be talking about this. But we might be getting a new Kanye album very soon. That also might be
the 5th.
Yes.
He put out a new Instagram post that said it was coming out on August 5th. So
yes.
Produced in his jail cell at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah. I will not believe that it's coming out on the 5th until it is like I am listening to it.
Until I have it downloaded on my phone, I will not believe that it came out.
I remember he was throwing up like billboards and shit for Yandi. And there's literal billboards and Instagram posts and everything I remember like 9/28/18, and that day came and went, and that album never came out. And he had a whole rollout, and he had this dude had a whole rollout for that album, and everyone was ready for it to drop, and then it just never came. So, how are you guys feeling about a new Kanye album? I thought his last album was dog shit. Jesus is King, but I think The Life of Pablo was a banger album, and I also think Kids See Ghosts was banging. I wasn't a big fan of Ye, but I don't know. I mean, I'm still interested to see where Kanye goes. I think he's a terrible rapper now, to be completely frank.
He needs to just be a producer, honestly.
Yeah.
He still makes fire beats.
His beats are what make up for his bad rapping.
And like no disrespect, like shout out Jesus, no disrespect, but that album was stinky as shit, dude.
Yeah,
it was. Jesus is King was terrible.
That was dog.
Wait, you say Jesus is stinky?
No, Jesus is King.
Oh,
that album was a stinky.
Okay.
Jesus is pretty stinky too, but
Jesus.
But in my opinion,
that's one of the greatest albums.
Yeah, dude.
That's a stretch.
Jesus is goated. I'm in it, bro.
Dude, he put his fist in like a civil rights sign, bro. Are you kidding me?
Dude, it's a meme. That's all it is.
Kanye hasn't been good since like 2012.
Exactly.
That's straight cap. Yeah, Sir Cap.
Life of Pablo was
about
a week.
Dude,
Life of Pablo.
I still listen to that album. That's a great album, dude.
Stinky. The only good that came out of that was Penda.
What about
brother? This guy stinks.
No, I think Life of Pablo is good. I actually love Jesus. That actually might be my like favorite Kanye album, no lie.
It's number 2 for me. Yeah, it's a goated album.
Ooh, I don't think so for me. Yeah,
it's a very divisive album for sure. But I guess another heat check. Parker, how you feeling about a Kanye album coming out?
I hope
next week.
I hope Kanye turns it around, man. Like I honestly haven't been a fan of like what he's been doing since Life of Pablo, really. Like there are a few songs I liked on Life of Pablo. Like I didn't even like the whole album. So I hope there's a big turnaround. And that like Kanye goes back to his prime. Like that'd be optimal. But I don't know if that's gonna happen.
I have no hopes.
Yeah, no hopes at all.
Not really.
Yeah.
Keep your expectations at the floor,
if
and you'll never be disappointed.
That's what I'm doing too.
With this album. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just hoping it comes out. I'd like to get some new Kanye.
Yeah, if the beef continues, there's rumor in the air that Drake might also be dropping the same day. So that would be
okay, that's OP. Kanye and Drake releasing on the same day.
I think there's rumor that Drake might do from like the whole sicko mode and like getting exposed like for child and all that shit. But supposedly so we might be seeing 2 heavyweights dropping this week.
That's gonna break the radio if that's the case.
Yeah, I'm very curious who I would listen to first in that situation. Anyways, that's Kanye. Or I guess John, you said you have no expectations. Andrew, did I ask? Did you say what are your expectations?
I'm keeping him at the floor. I mean,
keeping him at the floor.
I don't think you can get worse than Jesus is King, but that remains to be seen.
Yeah,
that would remain to be heard.
Yeah, we have that was the worst Kanye album by a long shot. It was terrible.
Oh, for sure.
But keeping on with the album news. Keeping it up. Let's keep it going this time. Let's talk about The Weeknd. This man, he is clearly teasing that a new album is imminent. So I guess I just want to ask you guys, keeping the heat check going, this little segment, what are your expectations for, a new Weeknd album coming out? Keeping in mind, this is probably like almost going to be probably viewed as like a sister album to After Hours. What are you guys potentially expecting from The Weeknd coming into this project?
It's honestly really soon after like After Hours. So like I hope he doesn't rush it and come out with like a 3-song album like he did before.
Well, just for reference, the gap between, I think like this is looking like a very similar gap of like between Starboy and Beauty Behind the Madness, like about a year and a half or a year and
I don't know how he does it, man. I don't know how he comes up with such bangers that quick. It's insane, but I just hope he puts all his effort into it, that he doesn't rush it or anything. I'm fine with whatever release date comes out for it because, I will always love The Weeknd. I feel like I haven't listened to an album where I've been disappointed. So I know if he comes out with something that I'm going to love it. I just want to go to another Weeknd concert. That's what. Yeah, and I hope he goes on another tour. So
well, you have tickets for it.
No, we refunded them, unfortunately.
Oh, I didn't. Fuck that. I'm going.
No, we didn't.
We didn't. We did.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
okay.
gonna say, I have the tickets.
I thought we did for some reason.
Didn't refund them.
No, we still
Bozo.
Yeah. Well, and now it's gonna be a double album tour probably. So
now it's gonna be extra hype. Let's go.
I'm super hyped for it too, dude.
Yeah, it'll be dope.
John, what are your expectations?
Yeah, share your thoughts, John.
Expectations.
I have a feeling it might be like, I don't know. I'm kind of hoping there's more rapping to it. Everyone hates Starboy, but I love the Starboy vibe, and I want.
Who hates Starboy?
Well, everyone says it's like his worst album.
Yeah.
Well, it's all of your guys' worst Weeknd album, isn't it?
No. I think
Beauty Behind the Madness.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm hoping that we get some Starboy vibes because After Hours for me wasn't like I said in our review, like not a lot of tracks that I'm like banging all the time. Like Blinding Lights and Heartless were pretty much the ones that I still have on repeat. So I'm hoping there's more like banger. Maybe
sounds like you're kind of a radio normie there, bud.
Sounds like you're a mainstream normie, buddy.
Yeah, are you sure you're a Weeknd fan?
I am.
I listen to Heartless and Blinding Lights.
I also listen to Can't Feel My Face
and The Hills. I mean,
Oh,
yeah, it's
brother.
true. I do like his mainstream stuff. I don't like Can't Feel My Face despite popular belief.
I don't get it. I don't
The
get the
rumor
hype
has
behind
been
that song.
debunked.
It's a terrible song. It's probably his worst song he's ever put out. Besides,
Honestly, like it's so like people revere it as this great thing.
Besides
I can't
Losers.
feel my face when I'm with you.
Losers.
Losers is a terrible, terrible song.
Oh, Dark Times.
Dark Times.
Dark
Dude,
Times.
that's why Beauty Behind the Madness is the worst album, because he has some dog shit features on there. Like Ed Sheeran, are you fucking kidding me?
Those are some
In
stinkers.
my dark
As long as it's
times.
not like Beauty Behind the Madness. Well, if it were like the good parts of Beauty Behind the Madness, it would be a banger. Acquainted.
Yeah, like Angel.
Acquainted
Angel's
is
a good song. Acquainted earned
both
it
quiet bangers.
Often.
Dude,
Often.
Kissland is super underrated, in my opinion.
Kissland, too?
Kissland is crazy underrated.
Maybe they'll go back to some of that Kissland energy. I don't know. I don't know what to expect.
In terms of my expectations, like I feel like, look, you put out the biggest album of the year, one of the biggest albums of all time, one of the biggest songs of all time. Like you brought us
the biggest song of all time.
Yeah, seriously. Like you performed at the Super Bowl, like you went big. You are
like, this generation's Michael Jackson.
Yeah. So like I feel like, now you're making this companion piece essentially to that album. That was this grand slam. Don't be I would say like make it I want to see something a little more down to earth, a little more gritty, a little more darker again. Like I would love to see that. Like, yeah, I'd love to see a little more Kissland vibes, something a little more unorthodox from him. I think it'd be interesting to see that because he's really perfected the hit making and the, with After Hours, what I love about it so much is it's got that really clean sound mixed with some of that storytelling and experimentation and that, and I want him to really dive into some of, you found that mainstream success, bring back some of that really experimental sound that you had with like Kissland. I would love to see like Kissland vibes mixed with some of the more like hip hop aspects of my Beauty Behind the Madness. Like I'm thinking like Often mixed with like Love in the Sky. Give me something like that. But Andrew, what about you? What are your expectations? What kind of sounds do you want to see? What kind of sonics do you want to see on the Dawn?
I mean, shit, anything, bro. The only thing I hope is that it's not like Beauty Behind the Madness. Because I mean, I want a good album with no stinkers, like After Hours. No stinkers on After Hours. I mean, it's just like The Weeknd is an artist that I can listen to like over and over and over. Like I think like the first I guess it kind of paired up with COVID, but like, I mean, shit, I'm like out here in March 2020, like playing Animal Crossing all day and literally just having After Hours on repeat. Like I just listen to it all day, every day for like a week. So, I mean, we'll see. The Dawn is coming.
The Weeknd is one of those artists where even if he's in a feature, if something new comes out, you're excited. You're ready to listen to it. So
better believe.
I'm ready.
Yeah. So I guess a lot of music stuff, really. Like a lot of people could be dropping soon. At this point, there's a lot of albums in the pipeline. I mean, Kanye's album, Weeknd's album, Drake's album, Travis Scott even with Utopia. Like there's a lot coming. 2021 could be a banger of a year.
Fed.
Yes, we are being fed, and I'm loving it. And we're
stuffed. Eating, baby. We eating good.
Yes.
We eating.
Now, let's shift the tone a little bit. Let's change it back up a little. Now let's get into gaming. Lot of interesting stuff. A lot of interesting stuff to talk about.
Interesting, everybody.
It wouldn't be a controller cast episode.
It wouldn't be a controller
without
cast
the controller.
Being able to shit on Nintendo, baby.
Okay, so let's talk about this because this is something this was one of the main reasons I was really excited about just having this catch-up episode was talking about this. Because now, we've mentioned it in however many episodes. It's finally come to fruition. The Switch Pro has been revealed.
The Switch Pro.
But no, 4K, just as fast, just as strong as the PS5. Amazing specs. New Metroid, new Zelda coming out fall this year. I'm buying it day one, pre-ordered, baby. Let's go. No, I'm kidding. I wish.
That's a
No,
dream world.
Yeah, that's a dream world. Sadly, we live in the sacred timeline, which is just utter agony. But yeah, so the new Switch model got announced, and it is the Switch OLED, the SWOLED.
Just a big fat who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Like,
but
Absolutely
I'm gonna give my quick thoughts on it, and then I want to open up the floor. I think that this was a severe miscalculation on on the part of Nintendo. And look, people are gonna I've heard some people saying this, and I'm gonna tell these people, go suck a cock.
Oh, they already got Nintendo's 6 feet down.
Yeah, listen, the people saying Nintendo's never done a mid generation refresh. You know who also did do a mid generation refresh? Literally everyone. This is the first generation this happened. So yeah, there's a reason why. I think it's pretty fair to assume, oh hey, there might be a hardware refresh, just like there was, a PS4 Pro and a Series, or not a Series X, an Xbox One X,
and literally the Nintendo 3DS. Nintendo has done a mid-generation refresh before.
Yeah, so
where games could not run on the old DS.
Yes.
No. So I don't think it's wrong for people to assume this, but this is what my thoughts are on this whole situation. There was clearly rumors about upgrades to the hardware for a year, and specifically high reliability outlets like Bloomberg, who have connections, to this industry. I don't think that what they heard about a hardware upgrade was wrong. I think they just got their rumors mixed up. And I think, we're getting this OLED refresh. But I think what this also means is those rumors about hardware upgrades to the Switch, I think those are probably for the Switch 2. And I think those rumors that we're hearing about a 4K device, 4K capable, 30 FPS, that sort of stuff, I think we're going to see that with the Switch 2. And I think we're going to see the Switch 2 come out in 2023. And if it's spring, I think it's probably going to be a launch. I think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be a launch game with it. So I think the fact that we did not get a proper hardware upgrade, to me in my head spells, okay, we're getting close to Switch 2. And I'm going to say 2023 for the Switch 2. But also, I think this was because I think they have to do a hardware upgrade at some point, because the Switch is running on its last legs in terms of how well it runs with any game coming out nowadays. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I didn't think this was an end of the world situation like a lot of people were making out to be, but dumb on Nintendo, because I don't know, they knew, I think they must have known that they were going to get absolutely grilled for this, because the rumors were percolating for the past year, and anyone is getting this fucking thing. I'm not getting this thing. I'm gonna wait for the Switch 2.
Hell no.
I bet the sales for the Switch OLED are going to be pretty bad in general.
But I think there's two ways to look at it in a positive, negative way. A positive way means Switch 2 is probably coming out this year, or not this year.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, Switch 2 is coming out probably 2023 or early. It's coming soon, I think. But bad news is that probably means I could probably throw my Switch in the fucking trash can now. But yeah, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it. Andrew, you're the big Nintendo guy here. Go ahead and lead us off.
I
are
think
your
the
thoughts?
only thing good that came out of this is that the fucking rumor people and leakers can like finally shut the fuck up. Like, God, do you know how fucking exhausting it was
Yes.
getting on Twitter every
Yes.
day and new Switch Pro or like Switch Pro is trending every fucking day, and I'm like, oh my God, this is exhausting. And shout out to them. Maybe they can start a GoFundMe because they won't get as many clicks anymore because it failed. But I mean, it's when you do like a hardware refresh like that, like what the fuck is the point? Like, oh look, we increased the screen size by like a half an inch and made it OLED. Like, okay, so what about when it's on the TV? Oh, it's the same. It's the same. It's just the same 720p dog shit, 30 frame per second massacre that happens on like every game. It's just like it's like miserable. Like it's so many things that Nintendo's doing is just like frustrating as hell, and that's definitely up there. And like people are like, oh well, if you're not interested, it's just not for you. I'm like, okay, but just look at it practically. It doesn't make sense. Like, why would anybody choose one that's $50 more when there's no performance changes? Like, it's just the same. And like, I honestly do not know many people that use a Switch exclusively on handheld. So for like 100% of the people I know that use a Switch, there's no marketability to like spending more money.
Dude, I just want to be able to go through the Korok forest without lagging. Like, can I just do that?
And you know what the worst part is? They're like, Nintendo had this as a highlighted feature in the fucking announcement trailer, was having an Ethernet fucking adapter built in. Are you kidding? That's your fucking highlight reel? My fucking PS2 had a fucking Ethernet jack on it, dude. Like, are you kidding me? Like, fuck off. That's so annoying.
Brother.
And the fact that they're like, there's just no reason to buy it. Like, they don't even make like a good business case to like even make a console like that. It's the same fucking thing. Just costs more.
My biggest thing is, we all know that the Joy-Cons are ass and they don't work. And I don't have a working pair of Joy-Cons. Yeah. They made these beautiful new, like actually cool looking white Joy-Cons. I think they look pretty cool.
Yeah. They look beautiful. Yeah, they look beautiful.
I think they could have marketed the Switch OLED more as a Switch Pro just for like having pro Joy-Cons. Like it's a pro handheld machine. Like same on the TV and whatever. I think that would have been better marketing and potentially got more people in. But nope. Didn't fix the Joy-Cons. They still suck. There aren't better pro Joy-Cons with like actual triggers. It's just like the same old Joy-Cons. It's the same old Switch.
Joy-Con drift.
Technically, they did have a hardware refresh for the Switch like 2 years in, and that was a bigger deal than this because the battery was doubled and it's technically faster than the original Switch. But this one is absolutely no different. It's stupid. I don't understand why they felt the need to even do it. Like to shut up the rumor mill. I don't know. Money, yeah, but like the original Switch is probably, cheap enough to produce at this point that I can't imagine they're making that much more on the Switch OLED than they would be making on the regular Switch.
I think their profit margins are like almost identical.
Right. So it's like, thanks for nothing, Nintendo. You put work into something that no one cares about. But to Ursul's point, and that was a really good point, this just means that we're going to get a true, sequel console in a couple of years, hopefully. Because if we got a hardware refresh now, I mean, who knows when Nintendo would release another console? I don't know.
I like how Nintendo has their own like generations basically now. Like they're completely desynced from PlayStation, Xbox. Like their generation's just completely separated. Well, like the full odd man out.
Well, this is like also the problem with me for the Switch Pro, right? Or not Switch Pro, the Switch OLED. That thing is $350. If you're chucking out $350, right? Look at the specs on that thing. Then look at the PS5. That is, if you want the digital version, you can get for $400. It is only $50 more than the Switch OLED, and with that $50 that you're paying, the like amount of like technological gap there is like insane. Which to me, like this whole Switch OLED thing has really, to me, changed my view of the Switch in general, because now. And I think Nintendo views it this way too. And I think I talked about this with Andrew too. Is like when I was in Omaha, probably was, I'm really much viewing the Switch as a handheld now. Even though I use it as a console, it's clear that Nintendo's business strategy with it and the way they're trying to treat its evolution is that of like a handheld. And because I think when you pair it up against PlayStation or even Xbox, I think the Switch is sorely lacking. But I think when you view it as a handheld, I think that's where it really excels. And that's clear, that's where they're putting their focus into, because, the upgrade that they gave for this thing was just in handheld mode. So, yeah, I guess any closing thoughts, Andrew? Do you view it more as a handheld, I guess, now, or... I guess because I feel like the big thing they were kind of advertising it on, the hybrid nature of it, I feel like it's not as big as it's not as important as it used to be, at least not to me anymore. And I feel like it isn't that big of a deal to them either. I feel like they're really viewing this as like a successor to the 3DS as opposed to like a successor to their mainstay consoles.
Yeah, I feel like if they cared about the home console experience, this would also be able to do 4K.
Mm-hmm.
And since it doesn't, I feel like they're just marketing as a handheld. I mean, it's working, obviously. I mean, their new sales numbers come out next week, I think. So it's working, but
yeah, and we'll be able to see for sure next week. Yeah. Next week we'll probably report on it.
Yeah, I mean, with 2 years left in the probably like, I mean, this is my guess, 2 years left in the Switch's lifespan. Where do you guys see the final sales like ending up before the successor comes out?
118 million.
I was gonna say 120.
Yeah, I was gonna say first. I was gonna say 130. I'm very interested to see if it's like above under the lifetime of PS4. Because I think PS4 is like 125 right now. So
that's insane.
Is it really?
That's too many sales, man, for this piece of shit.
I gotta fact check that.
Nah, dude. Yeah. I thought you were talking about the PS4. I was like, dude, the PS4 is legendary, dude.
No, I'm talking about the Switch, bro. That's just too many sales for that piece of dog shit, man. Doesn't
Sony
deserve
likes
it.
to do their sales numbers on the even number consoles, but the odd number consoles are like the powerhouses.
The PS4 is at 116 million right now.
Oh, okay. I was off. My bad. I thought it was at 125. But still, I think I actually read somewhere like the PS4 has sold more software now than the PS2. Mm-hmm. So like in theory, it's actually more successful than the PS2.
Yeah, what helps when you have a company who actually discounts their first party games.
Yeah, like
Nintendo.
Yeah, like but speaking of games, Andrew, I want to hear about Mario Golf. Share some thoughts on that.
Well, Mario Golf is a golf game with Mario. That's about it.
Fun. Okay, moving on.
No, but seriously, it's a disappointment. It fucking sucks. Like, it's a good golf simulator. It's just like the fact that I paid more because it's got Mario's name on it is what sucks. Like, it's very bare bones. It's a good golf simulator, but it's just like not as good as it could be with Mario's name on it. I mean, I enjoy playing it once in a while. It's just like there's nothing there to keep me coming back. And the fact that the game is so like bare bones, like it's literally just golf. Like literally just golf. And then they have like the battle mode that like kind of suck, like the speed golf or whatever, you like tackle people and shit, which isn't very fun unless you have like multiple people playing at the same time.
So is it the weakest Nintendo party game?
Oh, for sure. And it's like and it's such like, it's so like, it feels so empty and barren. And it's like, I understood their like whole like drip feed, like add updates thing, like maybe back in like 2017, 18, when there were actually like big bangers coming out, like to like kind of like, you know, keep it interesting. Why the fuck are you drip feeding a Mario Golf game? The series itself has only sold like 6 million total in its lifetime. Like nobody that's buying this game wants you to drip feed us bullshit. And it's just so empty. It's like you have like yeah, it visually looks good, but most of the courses are pretty fucking empty and very like there's not a very good like atmosphere. Because like the old games, it's like you have like mushroom shaped trees and there's like star shaped like bunkers or whatever. Like the 3DS version is the perfect Mario Golf game. And the Switch version just like doesn't even stack up even close to it, which is really disappointing for a game that hasn't had a new release in 8 years. Like it's pretty disappointing. I give it what's the lowest I could give it without making Nintendo mad if I ever get review copies? Let's see. Maybe I give it like a 5 out of 10. It's a pretty shit game.
By the way, I think we're long gone from being able to get Nintendo review copies if they watched the show at all.
We've only tried it once. And it was this game. So maybe it's good they didn't give me this one.
Yeah. Hey, Nintendo's great, guys. Nintendo's great.
Yeah.
No. But like, what is it? No, Nintendo when they're firing on all cylinders is a fantastic company. I feel like I don't say that enough. Like giving them credit. It's just that, you know, you got to criticize when someone's not performing well. That's what we're here for. And right now Nintendo is I don't know, they got their dick in their own ass or something.
I think this game was like the solidifying factor where I got it and I played it. And I thought of all the other games I've gotten on the Switch. And I think it was like the moment I was definitively like, yeah, I think the 3DS is going to be better than the Switch, like in retrospect. Like the 3DS has a much better library and more quality games, and they're cheaper. And I think this game was like the point where like, because I have like very limited comparisons. Like I have like 3D Land on the 3DS against 3D World. Obviously 3D World is leagues better. 3D World is one of the best games on the Switch, and it's a fucking Wii U game, which is dumb. And then I have like the comparison with Animal Crossing. Obviously, the 3DS one's
better, yeah.
And then now I have Mario Golf, and the 3DS one was better. And I'm like looking at this fucking stupid tablet that I have sitting on my TV, and I'm like, why the fuck did I buy this thing? And why do I keep buying games for this fucking thing? Like my playtime in the past like 30 days has to be like Switch, like maybe 4 hours, and my 3DS probably like 30, 40. Like damn. I've been playing the fuck out of my 3DS this month just because I've been like so disappointed in my Switch. Like there is nothing on my Switch that has been bringing me back. Like Animal Crossing's like, oh, there's a new update coming out, and I look and it's like, oh, cool, you can hold a fucking cup of boba tea now. That's it. That's kill me. Shoot me in the fucking dick, dude. Like it's so stupid. It's like Nintendo's had a stinky little summer. It's not hot boy summer for Nintendo, that's for sure.
I just had a vision. It just flashed before my eyes. And and it was that a couple years from now, 2023, we're gonna see the successor to the Switch, and Nintendo is gonna fuck it up because they're gonna call it like the Super Switch, you know, or you know, Super Nintendo Switch or something, and every like fucking pleb out there is gonna think that it's just like a Wii U. Oh, it's just an add-on. It's just a hardware refresh. But it's the sequel. It's the new Switch, and it's gonna sell like shit. Because everyone's gonna be like,
the best
I had a
games on
vision
it because it'll sell like shit.
I had a vision where Fall Guys, one of my favorite games, finally came out on Switch, and it ran like dog shit because it does. But you know, with Fall Guys, we got the new Ratchet and Clank costume, so Arcel How about we hear your opinion on that game right there?
Yeah.
An actual company that can produce good first-party games still and good consoles, Sony.
So
Sony's never let us down.
Ever. Never. Yeah. No, honestly, gotta give a shout out to Insomniac. Insomniac just killing it with the fact that they've released 3 really, really good games. Quality games at the very least, like regardless of opinion. With Spider-Man 2018, Miles Morales, and 6 months after Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I notoriously could have, I could never really get into Ratchet and Clank before this game. I'm being completely honest. I thought they were enjoyable, but it never really clicked for me. But Insomniac has really just been improving as a developer. We saw that with Spider-Man. I absolutely adored both of those games. I don't think this game is as good as those. But I will say this is the first Ratchet and Clank game that I actually, beat and enjoyed. I thought it was it's only about 10 to 15 hours, but it's an absolutely gorgeous game. It's hilarious. It's one of the funniest games I've ever played. And it feels like you're playing a Pixar movie. The graphics at this point, they look as good, if not sometimes better than what I'm seeing with Pixar. It looks that good. When you run it at 4K, 60 FPS, this game is just jaw-droppingly beautiful. The combat, the best way I can really explain the combat loop of the game is like, imagine Uncharted, but like it was like furries. That's probably like the best way to describe Ratchet and Clank.
That's gotta be the worst fucking description I've ever heard in my
life. like it's these epic moments and these like crazy shootouts, but it's like kid oriented, it's like more for a younger demographic, but there's still all these epic moments happening, epic set pieces, and these really cool characters that you really want to see what happens to them.
Captain Quark. Is he?
But yeah, he is. And the story much is, they're trying to take down Dr. Nefarious like every game. But there's different dimensions and different realities, and just like so you play as Ratchet, but you also play as Rivet, which is like the female counterpart to Ratchet, and I honestly liked her more than Ratchet. So it was a really fun game. Those are like giving it a lot of positives. I would say the cons that I would give are the combat does start to wear out its welcome in the second half of the game. Like the game just throws a lot of enemies at you. For me, the game did actually start glitching out at near the last few hours. The game crashed for me a couple times. A trophy glitched out. That stopped me from getting the platinum, which, those are kind of, I'm sure like those are probably patched out by now, but this is my experience with the game. But, I really enjoyed it. I'm, besides the crashes, it's just really the combat started getting a little stale. But that's kind of my main complaint with it. But I really enjoyed it, not as much as the Spider-Man games, but Insomniac is honestly starting to turn into a top-tier developer. I would not recommend buying this game at full price, just because it's 10 to 15 hours. But as Andrew mentioned before, PlayStation is really good about doing those discounts pretty fast. So I could see like in a month or two, this game probably being like 20 to somewhere between 25 to 50% off. And because like right now, Sony is doing, like PlayStation is doing their summer sale. Like Returnal is already like $30 to $40. And so this will probably be on sale soon. I would probably check it out when it goes on sale. I'd probably give it like an 8 or an 8.5. Just because I'd probably give the Spider-Man, like it's a great game. There's really not that any serious faults with it. I just started getting tired of the combat, and the game started glitching out a little bit near the end. But yeah, I would say check out Ratchet and Clank because it's one of the best games of the year. I know that's not saying that much, but that and Returnal with Sony's, even though Sony has a lot of games getting delayed, they put out 2 really good games. 2 games that I would give like an 8 out of 10 to. So check it out. That's my little take on Ratchet and Clank.
Just glad that we're getting some PS5 exclusive games, like not cross-gen games finally. Like, because I heard that the whole like shtick with Ratchet and Clank was like it uses the SSD, so you literally have like no loading times between worlds. It just like loads.
Yeah, that's a really cool thing. Is like, why I want to see. And why I get your frustration, Andrew, how you've expressed in the past, like why you want to see these first-party games that are next-gen exclusive is because when you do, you get to see something like Ratchet and Clank where the visuals are amazing. There's no load times. You literally like, there'll be scenes where you're in this huge world where all this shit going on and you'll fly through and you'll instantly be in another world. And then 5 seconds later, you'll be in another world. And, like and there's no loading and, it's just a really seamless experience. And it's like gotten to the point where they have so much bandwidth. They have so much memory bandwidth to work with these new consoles that, they don't have to do these loading screens or these limitations. They can just create this experience that's so seamless and so high fidelity. And it's really cool to see it like this play out. So also, another reason worth checking it out as a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Probably, I guess we're going to be getting Deathloop. So this is the second PS5 exclusive. We'll get Deathloop in September. And I guess
the Microsoft-owned PlayStation exclusive Deathloop.
Yes. So we'll have more to share on that. But, good job, Insomniac. They're really one of the best developers out there right now, and Sony got them first deal. But moving on from there, continuing on, and this is a story that really started in June. And I wanted to talk to you guys about this because Andrew, you've probably heard about this. I feel like this has been making its waves around the internet because it's such a weird story. So there's this game that got announced by an indie developer, and Sony advertised it back in spring. It was called Abandoned. It's supposed to be this survival horror game, but it was very vague. Like it's by this team called Blue Box Studios. The director of the game name is Hassan Karaman. And people started thinking, oh, maybe this is Silent Hills, which, if people don't know, was what PT was supposed to be for. PT was this 30-minute horror teaser game that was for Silent Hills, a game by Kojima Productions, Hideo Kojima, but it ended up getting canceled. And now people think Hideo Kojima is trying to pull another fast one, and that this is, they're going to reveal the game in a couple days, but that people think this is going to be a Silent Hills. But the thing is, ever since June, right, the company has been like, we're not Hideo Kojima, we're not making Silent Hill, but they're doing all this like tongue-in-cheek shit where they're like, oh, Abandoned, our game Abandoned, it's actually like, it's not actually called Abandoned. It starts with S and it ends in L. And it's like, everyone is like, yeah. and also like really weird coincidences. Like if you take Hassan's name and like put it through like Google Translate, like from like Dutch back to Japanese, because I guess it's like a Dutch studio, like it's Hideo Kojima, and like if like they're tweeting things out at like, they say they're a Dutch studio, but like the times they're tweeting is like at 3 a.m., but that's like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. like Japan time. So like there's a bunch of weird stuff going on. But then like, so people think, oh, this must be some conspiracy, like like they're, this is going to be like a Silent Hill game, hit it like Kojima's behind this. But at the same time, the company itself has been like, we are not affiliated. This is not like, we are not Kojima. We're not making Silent Hill. The guy, Hassan Karaman, has like literally hopped on Twitter and is like showing his face and is like, hey, this is like, we are not affiliated with anyone. We're making our own game. We're going to reveal it soon. So it's kind of like, everyone's like, well, what exactly is going on here? I don't know what side of the fence I'm on, to be completely honest. I almost feel like this is just a bunch of indie developers that got way over their head. But what do you guys think? It's kind of a interesting situation. I don't know if Andrew, have you been following this at all? Or
I've been following it very loosely. I mean, it's kind of like interesting to like just see all the like how stuff is like lining up. It seems too coincidental, but I mean, like you said, they keep saying that they're not affiliated, so I don't really know what to believe. If we got a new Silent Hill game, that'd be awesome, but
I like to, like, especially a conspiracy like this where it just, there's so many things that line up like that. I like to believe that it would, like, they're lying. Like, they're not just a group of indie developers. Like, this is going to be what we wanted from, like, PT back in the day. But
Yeah.
but who knows? Who knows? I mean, I remember there used to be like PS4s or whatever with PT installed on them that were selling for like $1,000, right? Like
Yeah.
just having the PT
PT.
demo on it.
Yeah.
I hope we don't see another situation where it's like a free demo and everything just sputters to nothing.
hey, but
I don't think
free
it's
is
gonna
nice.
be like that.
I like free.
I like free, but like a 30-minute demo and it's nothing else. Like, I just hope nothing like that happens.
That 30-minute demo is like the scariest game of all time.
It is. It is. But yeah, I haven't really been following it. This was actually the first I heard about it.
Oh, really? It's been like all over the internet, like in the gaming
Really?
space. I feel, yeah.
Wow, I've been totally out of the loop with that.
Well, I guess you were pretty busy around that time.
Yeah. What about you,
But-
Parker? Did you have any thoughts on that?
Honestly, I never played PT. I've never even really heard about this.
You
So-
watched it. I played
I've
it at
watched
the dorm
it.
all the time.
Yeah, but I never really paid too much attention to it, to be honest. I've heard of the Silent Hill games, like from the past, you know? Like, there's supposed to be these crazy, scary games, but I really haven't been following this controversy at all.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I'm not sure which side of the. I think it's nothing. I think it's like these indie developers who just were memeing and are about to get screwed over because the second they reveal it and it's not Silent Hill, they're gonna get like ass blasted to oblivion by the internet. But we'll see. I'm surprised Sony hasn't said anything about it because it's supposed to be a PS5 exclusive, which is interesting. But keeping it going with the controversies, I guess. Big news this week. Activision is in crazy hot waters. They're getting sued by the state of California for their quote unquote frat boy culture they have at their company. Pretty much a lot of bad stuff has come out. Pretty much that the higher rings of the organization is filled with sexual assault allegations and a lot of toxic work culture. There's this talk about people putting cameras in bathrooms, and they had this thing called the Cosby Suite, where they like.
Oh, totally unproblematic name to name.
I did see that picture. They were all like sitting on a bed in a hotel room with like this poster of Bill Cosby, and they called it the Bill Cosby Suite.
Yeah,
What a
Made up
great company
creepy,
to work for. What a great company.
Yeah, and pretty much, and like somebody on the higher ladder like sent out an email to the employees, pretty much telling them like, "Oh, this whole like lawsuit is bullshit. Like, we're a good company." And that pretty much like 1,000+ Activision employees walked out this week on a protest because of this whole thing, which is awesome. But so yeah, Activision is going through a lot of hot shit. But I kind of want to ask what your guys' thoughts were on this whole situation. Obviously, Activision is in the fucking wrong here, but what do you guys think about like unionization? Because I mean, I've always heard unions are a good thing, but maybe one of you guys could educate me here. Do you guys know what the process entails for like a workforce to be unionized? I feel like there's been a lot of talks for the video game industry to become unionized because of so many of the like negative work environments that have sprung up through the past few years. But first off, I guess, yeah, what are your thoughts on it? and maybe talk about unionization in general. What are your guys' thoughts on that? And how does it happen? Because I don't know actually like what the process entails. John, maybe? I feel like
I actually was going to ask Andrew or Parker because I've been in a union technically, but like I don't really understand exactly all the nuances that go with it. I know there are negatives to being in a union. Like it's impossible to get a raise. I mean, your wages, at least where I was at, like it was impossible to get a raise. Like the only way that would happen if the union contract was like looked at again. Like it's as far as I understand, it's all about contracting, and you got to amend those to change anything about the work environment or the pay. Maybe Andrew and Parker know a little bit better, but with the whole Activision thing, I think it looks bad on the gaming community in general. I feel like, because seeing how some of the men in the workplace at Activision act, and that they're primarily a gaming company, it just, like, when all this came out, my first thought was, wow, like, to an outsider that doesn't play games, and they're like, ooh, this big game company is putting cameras.
Yeah, they made Call of Duty.
Like, they made Call of Duty, and they're putting cameras in bathrooms. Like, it's just,
it's really activated.
Yeah, this is the guitar. These are the guys that make Guitar Hero and COD, man. Like, these are like games we grew up on.
Bad look, yeah.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, let me just look at the games that they own: all of Call of Duty, Crash Bandicoot, Guitar Hero, Tony Hawk, World of Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo, Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, Overwatch, Candy Crush. Like, they own all these massive things. So like, the fact that they're such a shit company, like, internally, makes me like sad that like some of those games are like childhood favorites of mine, like Crash Bandicoot, Guitar Hero 3, Black Ops 1. There's just like so many like classic games they own that I'm like huge on. And I mean, it sucks that they're a shit company internally. I mean, on the union side, I don't have any experience being in one. I know, not to throw the airline industry under the bus, but the airline industry is very against unionizing, just because unions generally bring, like you said, John, they have to negotiate the wage, like, to get a raise. But the wages that unionized employees get versus non-unionized are much different. So a lot of like industries that pay pretty low don't want that, like Amazon and like the airlines and stuff, just because like that brings up their operating costs if they have to pay people more, which, like, oh, you gotta pay people fair wage. Damn, that sucks, bro. But I mean, generally from the experience, so there's like three main things really, is like wages. Your wages will go up. They won't change as much, but like when they get renegotiated, like obviously a union has a ton of leverage when it's like a service industry or like a very like hands-on blue collar industry.
Yeah, that was the direction I was going. It's not impossible to get a raise. It's just like, it's negotiable.
It's hard, but you already have like a higher wage than like they would be giving you. So I mean, you're still making it out in a benefit. And the second one is benefits. Like, labor unions negotiate really good benefits. I know, like, I don't know how it is now because I'm not on the like union side, but like UP used to have like has really good benefits for like the agreement people, which is like the unionized side, which is the people on the actual railroad tracks. I don't know if they're better than what they give. I don't really know specifics, but that's just the general like gist I get. And then the third one is like being able to move around. Cause I know people that own like electrical companies, and they like, if you belong to like an electrical union, a plumber's union, all that stuff, like you can get like laid off like when times are down, but it's really easy to like get rehired and like move companies when you're in a union, because like the union does all the employment stuff basically. Like they're in the background. They're basically like an HR department. Yeah. In some respects. So it's like, yeah, it's really easy for like unionized employees to like move around to different like companies within the same like
industry.
industry. Yeah.
It's
So
basically just a governing system.
yeah. It's
outside
basically
of,
like
like,
it's like
companies
it's like a
themselves.
middleman between the workers and the companies they work for. Like they basically take care of. I mean,
Do-
you pay union dues. You don't have to. There's like right to work laws, obviously, but they work definitely on the side of the workers, and obviously companies that make a lot of money because they have cheap labor don't like
Do you
that.
guys think the video game industry should be unionized?
I think it should.
I feel
be.
like every industry should be
I
unionized.
shit. If you have like, I mean, think of all like, I mean, you have like, isn't there like actors unions or like,
Like
I tripping on
SAG-AFTRA,
that?
yeah. I think is there? I think there is.
I feel like
The
there
fact of the
is.
matter is companies don't pay workers in America a fair wage.
So a union is the only way you get a fair wage, really.
I mean,
In
really,
in
with the
some
way
in
things
some places.
Dude,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
unions
there's
protect
actors
so many
unions.
people from so
That's-
much bullshit.
are,
Yeah.
It's
the way
unbelievable.
the way things are, we are trusting executives to just be nice, essentially, and pay their workers a fair wage. And we know, and history has shown, that's just not how it works. Whoever has power is going to.
I mean, there's been so many stories the past 5 years in the video game industry about workers being overworked, underpaid, mistreated, you know, like, and it's been such a common story because, you know, the expectations are high in that industry and, you know, like everyone's clawing at each other, it feels like. I think, I don't think unions are, I think it just humanizes the workforce and I think there's been so much talk about it. I think it should happen. And I just looked it up. There is actors unions, like it's
That's what I thought.
SAG-AFTRA.
I mean,
yeah,
and you see it in other entertainment areas. Like there's players unions in every major league sport. You know, like video games are entertainment. The people creating the entertainment should have the right to be unionized and, you know, get better hours, get better benefits, get better wages. I think they all deserve that. And people are always like, opponents of unions are always like, oh, well, you have to like pay money into it. But like, I've never heard of somebody in a union complain that their dues outweigh the benefits of being in the union that they're in.
I never paid. You didn't have to. You didn't want to.
What is it? And like I think it's telling when it's like you have companies like Uber and Amazon like actively lobbying against these what did I
They're
just forget the word?
basically actively lobbying against fair rights for their workers.
Yeah,
Because they want money. It's money greed.
There are specific companies, not any that I personally have worked for, but there are specific ones where I've seen the unionized employees like wages versus the non-unionized, and you cannot tell me that paying like $100 a month or whatever for fees outweighs like the pay gap between unionized and non-unionized.
Yeah,
like there's a massive gap, and I mean, look at the video game industry in general. You hear all this like crunch, you know, CD Projekt Red crunch, putting out a poop ass game. Like all these employees like burn their social lives to work just to, you know, just get burned in the end. And that's why I think you need a union. Like video game developers, like the big ones, need it to make sure the employees need it to make sure that crunch is avoidable. Like the fact that there's so many games that are just like crunch, rush this out is one, disappointing for the end product because usually the end product sucks when you have a rushed game. And two, the employees are miserable and it creates a toxic work environment, and then it ends up devolving into the bullshit we see with Activision.
Yeah, and it's like, geez, like I've read stories like, you know, where people on these like tell-alls for the video game industry have been like, yeah, I've had to crunch so hard. I've literally lost like my family or my marriage because I'm working like 80-hour work weeks and I'm never home. And it's like, Jesus Christ, like it's not worth it to put out fucking to make, you know, add an extra testicle feature to, you know, your character creator.
Make sure the horse's balls are anatomically correct. Like
like it's not worth it. That's not,
dude. I feel like game developers just need to be honest about delays if they need them. Like,
do.
Don't rush your workers. Be honest if there's delays. Like
the fact that like so many Nintendo games specifically don't get delayed and they just get on this drip feed fucking sucks. Like I would rather have them just delay a game.
Yeah, and like
just to make it more complete.
And I think we talked about this in a previous episode where it's like just hold off on announcing your game until you know you're close to finishing it. Like until you know when it's like, hey, it is around the corner, it is almost done. Like I know, like I wasn't the biggest fan of this, but like Fallout 4, they announced Fallout 4 in May, and that game came out in November, in like October, and it was like 5-6 months. Like, don't stretch it out years and years like Cyberpunk or something else. Like Breath of the Wild, we're gonna be waiting 5 years till the fucking day from when that thing got announced, and it's just like just don't put any pressure on anything. Don't even show it. Show it to us when it's ready. You know, when you're ready to show us the product, do it like that. Like, do it like the movie industry. Like, think about it. Like, they don't show us trailers for movies until the movie's like done, you know? So
and
that's
my opinion on
it. With the rise, no reason to be frustrated because we wouldn't know.
Yeah.
With the rise of social media, I feel like it makes it worse because, and Nintendo is a main offender of this bullshit where they announce a game way in advance. And then you subsequently, like every couple of months, it just like pops to the top and people start talking. And it's just like a cycle. And all these companies see it and they're like, oh, well, let's do that. Like we can keep the social media interactions going up and the engagement going up if we announce it now and just keep doing that. And I mean, Nintendo's a main offender, like Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime 4. Even when Breath of the Wild was like in development, like Twitter was starting to get big and like, you know, they delayed that game multiple times. So like they kept like the conversation going, which is like what most companies want to do. But I mean, speaking of games that constantly trend, even though they're not real, GTA 6 is coming out in 2025, apparently, allegedly. Like it was coming out in 2021 and then 2023, and now we just keep moving the goalposts.
So there's been pretty much a rumor mill or like a insider scoop or whatever. I don't know if it's real or not. We won't know until the game comes out. But the rumor that GTA 6 is internally scheduled for a 2025 release. And the rumors are that it is going to be in Vice City, modern day Vice City. And they are looking for it to be like, you know, they want it like the map to be like ever evolving, like Fortnite, where, you know, the map will keep evolving, keep iterating, and keep changing. So I guess a lot of different news. What do you guys think about one, it coming out that long after GTA 5, it being in Vice City, and the thoughts of them maybe building the game around it, being, like the map evolving over time. Like, you know, I kind of imagine like GTA 5 right now, like how that building has always been under construction. Maybe, you know, like, oh, now, you know, they'll have under construction buildings, but they'll actually finish, or they'll add new locations or things like that, which I think could be cool for something like GTA Online, which is obviously the reason they haven't made GTA 6 yet. But what are your thoughts on, I guess, the GTA 6 rumor mill?
I like the idea. I mean, I feel like GTA is the type of game where it makes sense to have an ever-evolving map and like ever-evolving game. Mm-hmm. Just because I've seen from fucking 8 years ago, I've seen the evolution of GTA 5, and I mean, if they just came out and said it originally that this game was like just gonna keep evolving, I don't think people would be as like be on the whole like, oh, this game burnout, like I'm tired of this game. Like if they in the next game, like, you know, have like not necessarily seasons, but just like scheduled big updates where they like add a location or add new events or something like that. Like, I mean, I'm fine with it. I don't have a problem. I think GTA is a game where that works. Like, just because it's like a game where you just, you know, it's a sandbox game. Think of like Minecraft, like how they just keep adding like new stuff years and years later. Like, I mean, if GTA went to something like that, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I would just want to make sure it's not like an online only game. Like,
yeah, I just don't want them to compromise the single player part of the game.
Yeah, the single player part is like great. Like, I still love single player on Like, if you're playing with friends, obviously multiplayer bangs. But like, if you just want to like chill and drive around and run people over, go for it.
Yeah, and the campaign for GTA 5 is amazing. Like that.
I played it 3 times. I played it
Yeah.
3 fucking times.
Yeah, same. It's so fucking good. But
I've
John,
never played it.
yeah, because you're a bitch. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. But John, what are your? I mean, John, you're still an active GTA Online player. You've been with it since the beginning. What are your thoughts on, all this GTA 6 news? That I've kind of thrown out there.
Well, I don't mind that it's going to come out in 2025. I am not in a rush to see a new Grand Theft Auto game because I think GTA 5 was done so well in the beginning that, I mean, really with the next gen upgrades and stuff that they're planning, if they do that well, I don't really see the need for a new game right away. I hope people aren't actually upset that 2025 could be the soonest we see another GTA. Because I don't really care. GTA 5 is an amazing game. They could do what they're talking about with GTA 5, or with GTA 6, where they, expand on the map and stuff. And they did a little with GTA 5, but they could do that a lot more. Especially with the next gen console version coming out soon. For me, I think Vice City would be cool, a modern version of it, but like I'm not in a rush. And honestly, a massive cityscape, the way that GTA is, I almost think that the map for Los Santos is better, just because there's so much area to do shit. And if Vice City is more like a Liberty City, just more colorful and more up to date, then I don't know if it's going to be as fun. But I mean, it's 4 years away. Who knows what they'll do with it? Who knows if it'll come out then? Who knows if it'll come out at all? I don't know. Maybe GTA 5 and GTA Online will be a whole separate thing, and they'll forget about the story mode. Like, you guys don't want that to happen. I personally wouldn't care. What about you, Parker? What were your thoughts on GTA 6 and all of that?
I actually really like the strategy that Rockstar is going with here. Kind of just waiting it out and evolving the game as it goes on. Because this is the perfect kind of game for that. It makes it feel more like real life, where as you go through time, things change in the environment that you're in. It's really smart. And I also feel like when they do come out with the game, if it is 2025 or whatever year it is, they're going to be preparing that game for many years ahead, right? So when the game first comes out, it's going to be worked on for like more than a decade. And it's honestly going to be future proofed as hell. I feel like it's going to really be nice when it first comes out, and we're going to be really impressed, because it's going to be made for not just the year it comes out, but pretty much a decade after.
And I think anyway, the one thing I'd like to see if they do that is just add more stuff to the map. Like the way Warzone does it, where they just like make slight changes and add little things to the map. I think that'd be perfect in GTA. You'd have like new things to explore all the time. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's a perfect fit.
I think like the way they handle GTA Online, like minus the like microtransactions, I think has been done really well. And I think if they have a winning formula with the GTA Online, all they need to do is like upgrade the game where upgrades happen, like, new location, better graphics, better gameplay, things like that. And just add on to what you're doing with GTA Online. But yeah, just do what Andrew said. Like, if you are going to make it an ever evolving map, that'd be awesome. Like, like that'd be cool if you have Vice City and where it was when you got the game in 2025, like, it's like a completely new location by the time it's 2035, which is crazy to think about. But, yeah, like John said, like, I've put hundreds and hundreds of hours into GTA Online. I don't think, like, I'm like, as long as they don't slack on the single player stuff, I have no problem waiting, because like, they just put out Red Dead 2 in 2018, which is like just a couple years ago. And, that still showed me that even though they do prioritize online, that like, Red Dead 2's campaign is like one of the best I've ever played. So I have high hopes. And yeah, like, I think, yeah, I do agree with John's sentiment that like, I feel like Los Santos was like perfect. So I'm curious to see how like Miami will be,
Yeah, dude.
because I feel like Miami isn't as exciting as Los Angeles. But who knows? I'm excited, but as long as they don't slack on the single player stuff, I think what they're doing with the online is good and dandy. But now the final thing that I want to just get everyone's thoughts on before we wrap it up is the Steam Deck. Now, good timing on their part after Nintendo got shit on with the OLED stuff, but Steam is essentially putting out their own portable handheld, and it's going to be stronger than the Switch, and it will have your entire Steam library. You can pretty much play any game that's on PC on that thing and take it to go. Parker, I wanted to ask you about this. What, as someone who's primarily a PC gamer, how does the Steam Deck sound, being able to take your entire Switch library, or not Switch, your entire Steam library on the go, and things like that?
See, I love it because these are full-fledged games. These aren't half-assed 30 FPS. Like, these are like really big-time games that take a lot of hardware to run them. Like, so it's impressed me that they can. Does it work with streaming games from your PC, or does it like run them itself?
It runs them itself. It has.
So yeah, that's really nice to see, because like a lot of these games, if they're really developed for like the best optimal performance and like graphics. So the fact that a portable device can run those is really impressive.
Yeah,
I did see it.
You can have Madden on the go.
Yeah, dude, that'd be sick. Being able to play like full-fledged first-party and third-party games like everywhere, that's a big deal. The closest anything else has probably came to that might have been the Vita. Like I don't know if anything else has really matched like that kind of versatility where you could just like, even if you're on vacation or like on a plane or something, you could just be playing a game if you use your mobile hotspot, which is really cool.
Here's the crazy part to me about it. Since it's basically a PC, like you could play on this handheld, like you could play Halo or like Xbox games, like you could play the PlayStation games that have come out on PC, like
Call of Duty,
like Horizon, or Death Stranding, or like Call of Duty, like because it's stronger than a Switch. But and like does Andrew or John, like how's this tingle your senses?
It's enticing. I mean, it's what the Switch wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Or what we thought Nintendo was planning with the Switch. Now it seems not so much, but to be able to play like legit games like Madden. Dude, I've been wanting Madden on the Switch since the beginning. I want to pick up a Steam Deck just for that. Like,
dude, you could actually play with me online if you did, because that would be lit.
And what's the price? Isn't it going to be like 400?
Yeah,
that's reasonable.
It is 400, but it only comes standard with like, what is it, 64 gigs of space?
Oh, that's terrible. 64 gigs ain't gonna do nothing for PC.
How much
games.
is the Switch? Is the Switch 32?
Well, the Switch doesn't hold full PC games.
Yeah, like how big is Madden, Parker?
Probably like 50 gigs. So, and dude, I just did a 100 gig update on Black Ops Cold War.
Yeah, so you couldn't play.
So I mean, you're gonna have to get some sort of external storage.
I mean, you can get like
SD
I want to say you can use micro SD cards, but
you could probably use external hard drives too. I bet.
Yeah. Okay. For $400, you get 64 gigabytes of eMMC, not even SSD. If you get the first tier that has an SSD is $256 and it's $530.
Okay, that's more worth it. That would actually be usable. 256 gigs.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
But it is more expensive, yeah.
It's more expensive though.
The price point is like, it's attainable. It's probably the masses version, but like it wouldn't work.
I'm wondering if it has modular storage solutions where you can change it out yourself. Like you could probably just get the cheapest one and then change out the storage.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if you could do that.
They said it's gonna be like completely customizable. Like you can swap parts out, you can change the OS if you want. Like
yeah, so you're probably able to just get the cheapest one and then just buy your own storage solution.
Okay,
for
so
better price.
this is okay. I'm a little skeptical of this. I think it's a perfect idea. I just want to see. Okay, first of all, battery. Like,
yeah,
that shit's gonna tank. I mean, I like it. I think it'd be interesting if it's executed well, which it remains to be seen, I guess. But I looked it up. So on this tech specs, all models are the hard drives built in are not intended for end user replacement. So
that sucks.
I don't know if that means you can't or they make it very hard.
It's
it
still
says, however,
not
all
worth
models include a micro SD card slot, which is like, if you don't have an SSD with most PC games, you're going to be loading a long ass time.
Actually, you'd be surprised. Hard drives actually can load games pretty decently fast.
Well, I'm saying like most like huge games.
Yeah, I that would be tough, especially on an SD card.
Wouldn't like Black Ops Cold War load faster on an SSD than a hard drive? Like much faster?
Oh yeah, GTA I had to put on my SSD.
Yeah,
because it was atrocious loading in with the hard drive. Atrocious.
We'll see. I think it's a good way to get PC gaming to the mainstream without having to build a fucking $1,000 PC.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
This is my take on it. Like, I think it's super cool. It sounds more appealing to me than like what the Switch is, where the Switch is at right now, honestly. But I've also just kind of realized like my preferred way to play games at the end of the day is sitting down on my couch, like in front of a TV. That's how I really just always use my Switch. Like I use the Switch as a console, really more than a handheld, which I know is not the preferred method from Nintendo, I guess. But yeah, I like playing on a proper screen, a proper setup, you know, feet on the coffee table, chilling back on the TV, controller in hand, got the big surround, you know, the sound bar with the big 4K setup. Like that's how I like to experience it. So,
you know, it'd be optimal with the deck if you could like cast out to a TV.
You can.
You can.
They'll have an official dock.
So you could just use it like a controller almost and just play it on your TV like that too.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
a better version of the Switch.
Yeah, just and if you can get the emulator on it, then it's literally a Switch.
Yeah, dude. we are not saying you should.
Yeah, don't ever but
emulating games is very bad, and nobody on this podcast has ever done it ever before, especially Yeah.
But hey,
I've never played Wind Waker emulated. Yeah.
I have never played the N64 version of Animal Crossing that didn't come out in America ever.
I've never done such.
Hey, there's you know, like actuality, like you could probably play like Breath of the Wild emulated like 60 FPS on the Steam Deck, which is interesting.
Don't let Nintendo know that a PC is a better Nintendo console than a Nintendo console is.
But yeah, on that note, we are going to end off this episode. Very long one, but we had a lot to talk about. I think maybe next week, maybe we kind of decided mid-episode, maybe we'll be talking about like Kanye's album and the Suicide Squad. I could see that being next week's episode. But we'll keep you tuned in. As always, follow us on socials, you know, at ControllerCast. You can find us on Twitter, on Instagram. Follow our own personal accounts if you want to. And yeah, we'll be back to our regular schedule now that we're back from our 1 month hiatus. And you know, there'll be a lot to talk about going through the fall with albums and games and movies. So stay tuned in, guys, because I'm sure we'll be talking about all of it. So that's me signing off. thanks for coming back, guys. And we're ready to keep the train rolling. Adios. If you guys want to say anything, go for it.
Yeah, thanks everyone for listening. We're gonna be back to the normal schedule, as Ursula said. We're all really excited to get back to the grind. Let's get it.
If any, for whoever's still watching, I love you. You've had to sit through a long episode. I appreciate you. Follow our socials.
Yeah, follow our socials. Review us on Apple Pod. Take your mom's phone, take your dad's phone, give us them 5 stars. Just load them up.
Shout out to Norway. I don't know how, but we're like on the top ranking podcast.
Yeah. Shout out Norway, baby. We're popular there for some reason.
Love you, Norway.
Our
We have
Norway. Let's go.
we were like the top 10 podcasts in all of Norway.
That's insane. What
So
the heck?
funny. I don't know who in Norway is listening to us, but go, shout out to you. But thank you so much. Maybe I need to start learning some Norwegian. Jesus. Okay. Thank you guys. That is episode 16.
Thank you. Goodbye and ha det.
Adios, guys. See ya.
Peace out.
Peace.